Just for the hell of it, I went ahead and made my tier list to where it's like top tier is triple S, A, then B, D. I forgot how to do English. Apparently, who needs a C rank when you got straight to D?
I'm gonna open up like a tier list maker so I can at least look at those tier lists so that I can visually see.
We have good characters and then just
The
straight
worst
up
characters.
Good characters, bad characters, cross, and then the goats.
After E rank, I put down shite and then Y.
Oh.
Fair cop.
Just being a little mean-spirited on
No
that one.
problem with these.
I don't know.
Well, hold on, we gotta discuss it.
God
So it's
damn it.
SSS, ABC, and then what is it?
D, E, and then shite and Y.
Hold on.
That's a lot of tiers.
I mean, we can get rid of a couple, but...
It will be quite hard to put someone to shit tier, to be honest.
True.
Yeah, I mean, there is a very specific group from episode 4, I'd say, but
That is
we'll cross
true.
the bridge when we get there, I suppose.
Yeah,
I mean, there are
yeah,
characters
well,
you can't even
well, yeah.
say whether they're in any tier, like the boat captain. What do you do with
Nah,
him?
Listen, I will argue Kawabata straight into triple S tier.
Wait, he has a name?
Yes.
Yeah.
In fact, he was the first character outside the family mentioned in the entire story.
That is true.
Huh.
And he is relevant in pretty many
When I
episodes.
played it, he didn't even have a sprite.
Oh,
I think
no.
they only
Yeah.
added in the sprite in the console version, right?
No,
I
I have a
think-
galaxy brain theory about Kawabata that I will land that man in triple S tier.
Are we recording already? Because yeah.
I can easily just cut out a lot of that stuff.
A lot of the sprites from like the Alchemist version and the new Steam version, I have actually not played through Umineko with that
That's right. I played with the
version.
original sprites as well.
because they got
Yeah.
permission from Ryukishi, and because he draws his own, might I add, very beautiful looking art.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Look, I will defend Oven Mitts till the day I fucking die.
Believe it or not,
And-
over time, I've actually come to appreciate that art style. And I think it's also due in
Good.
part to whenever I was playing Rose Guns days, because I could spot like, oh, that's his artwork.
Mm-hmm.
And I just,
Or Tree Anthology, you can tell it's his artwork.
yeah.
For certain
Still
characters.
hate those
It's
hands.
iconic.
Sorry.
I know for
hands.
some people they can't get past the hands, but you know. Anyways,
For me,
I got
character is more important than correct anatomical position.
I forgot this guy's name. He's in
Amakusa.
Higurashi.
Yeah,
Amakusa.
Amakusa.
No, Amakusa, right? Yeah. Fuck. Why do I always get those two?
So-
mixed up? They have the same name.
So, well, first off, spoilers if you upload this. Second, I just want to make sure everyone here in the call has finished Umineko, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Mhm.
So, as someone who canonically in my Let's Play actually went with the human ending instead of the magic ending, I do like the twist of this guy at the end and how it was all leading up to an assassination. But if you choose the magic ending, that plot point is completely removed, and he's kind of just Angie's bodyguard.
Whoa, hold on. Plot point is completely removed. Are you saying that the two endings of the game are incompatible with one another?
What?
Well, I mean, at the end of the game, they literally give you a red pill, blue pill choice. So,
All right. Here, let me pose you a theory. Let me pose you a thought.
I
okay,
got my tea ready.
I got
If
my blue
we-
text.
If we accept that this story in some way is the story of the tale of Umineko being written by Toya and what's a
Ikuko.
fucking name? Ikuko. All right. All right, if we accept that, let us pose to you that the human ending of this story was the original ending as they wrote the last fragment of the game. But then having met with Anjay years into the future after she'd written her adventure book series, that they then went back and rewrote the ending because they thought that it wasn't an appropriate way to represent the end of Anjay's tale. And thus, both endings are compatible in the one reality.
Objection.
Checkmate. Checkmate. I don't really
in
have
the
anything
manga.
against that.
Oh no.
I need to say something. In the manga, both endings are depicted in the episode 8 manga, and there the trick ending is shown first, and afterwards, right after the trick ending ends, NJ starts her inner monologue that says that this might have been me in another world had I chosen what I did. However, I chose this, and then it cuts to the magic ending, which shows that, well, at least in the manga version.
Does this sound like is this an objection? Because it sounds like you're just adding fuel to my fire.
I agree.
That no one forgets the
Objection,
manga.
I agree.
But as it alludes, that the trick ending is just a thought of NJ's, or, well, obviously, in some fragment it probably does happen.
I mean,
But at
there's
least
only so much.
canonically, it's only a thing that NJ views that might have happened in a what-if scenario if she did.
There's only so much you can do with the manga before you start getting into the player decides to board up the river. Turn to page 98. Like, there's only so much before it's a choose your own. But okay, going back to the character. So all right, with that logic instilled, then he doesn't add too much to the main plot though. He's part of the side plot, and that's about it. He doesn't actually go to Rokenjima. He doesn't become part of the whole metagaming. So I don't think he's gonna list pretty high. I'm comfortable with either B or C.
I was actually going to suggest
I'll
C.
settle with a B. I'll settle with
Here's-
a B. I do want to pose evidence to the table here that we also have a significant part of Anji's journey is learning from, you know, the mistakes that Amakusa talks about on their drives around the country, kind of informing her decision at the end of the game. So even though he doesn't do a lot in the story in terms of action, he still has a tangible impact on her characterization.
That's true, but I mean, Cross has an impact on Jessica's characterization, and he amounted to playing telephone and getting Natsumi in his little legal thing, and that's about it. He doesn't actually do too much in the story. So, you know, whether you view him as a plot device or a character, I view him as a character at the very least.
Which character, hold on, are you talking about now?
Jessica's dad. He doesn't
Oh,
do
Kraus, right?
that
Yeah.
much. Yeah, Kraus. Sorry, I'm bad with names. I will never forget saying Hideyoshi after I was like, I'm gonna be better at Japanese pronunciation.
That's
I've always,
right.
I've
That's
always
right.
pronounced
Here's what I want to say about Amakusa. Talk about like other 7th expansion works. Higurashi, Kikonia.
Well, okay.
Is that a spoilers
Oh,
and everything, or no?
I've not read
haven't read
Sakonia.
Neither have I.
not-
Same.
Okay, is Higurashi okay with everything?
Higurashi's fine for me.
Higurashi's
Here's the
fine.
thing, though. Like, is he named in the original visual novel, or was that just added for the manga?
He does appear in the latest anime, though.
He does appear in the latest anime, but like now you're asking, is the latest anime canon? And if it is,
Very much suggested that
then-
he's the same character from Matsuri Bayashi.
if the latest Higurashi is canon, then we have that whole thing to deal with, which isn't even over at the time of this recording.
Correct.
No spoilers on
We
today's
should remember
episode,
that
by the
this
way.
is
I
a
forgot to say
mythical
that
tier
yet.
list. I think we should take into consideration that Amakusa's, like, a part of his character is only viewed as important just because he does appear in Higurashi. But I don't think that has any relevance to, you know, his appearance
No,
and
I
actions
completely
in
agree.
Umineko.
No, his,
If you guys think that his contribution to Anji's characterization is significant enough, B, otherwise C.
This is like a preliminary discussion for Okanogi.
that's like, okay, is his existence just as good as the Sin Sister that shaped Anji's whole character?
Belphegor's best
I-
steak.
It would
I'd say
feel-
they're flip sides of the same coin.
Yeah.
Okay,
They
if that's
do
the case,
Yeah.
then
teach
I'm
different
comfortable
things.
with B.
Okay.
I also feel like a POV from Amakusa's point of view would be really interesting.
I would
have
not mind having a little
very
short story from
different-
his
Yeah,
perspective.
there would be some political intrigue with Sumadera and Okanogi, and you know what he actually thinks of Anji, because we don't really understand what he actually thinks of her.
Right.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, Okanogi thought that they had hooked up or something, alluded to it or asked it.
Yeah.
All right, let's just put him in B tier because if we
Let's
keep
put
up
him in-
this pace, we
let's
will
put
be
him in
here for
B.
24 hours.
Yeah.
We
Okay.
spent like
So-
on
I'm fine with
Wait.
that here.
All right.
All right. So
This.
Concur.
wait,
Here.
who's this? There's two
This is the-
Beatrices next
Oh,
to
this
each
one's,
other.
This is the World War II Beatrice.
Yeah, this is the
Okay,
OG
okay.
Beatrice.
This is
Italian Beatrice.
Beatrice the first.
Yeah, the first one.
Beatrice the first. Does it make sense to call the Genova of this series, like the
He's
catalyst?
a very sad character.
It's a very sad character, yeah.
Yeah. Considering she was introduced, well, I mean, technically she was alluded to, but, we didn't get to really
Like-
spend too much time with her whenever we finally got to see that blast from the past.
Like
Hold on.
it really is just to explain this is where the gold came from.
Right.
He's also distantly related to Mussolini, right?
Here's my argument. All right, I'm gonna say E tier.
E tier?
I'd say lower. Except I don't want to diminish. You know,
She's not a
diminish her
bad character.
impact.
No. She's
Yeah,
just
Not
bad
a bad
character.
character. Okay, I think our criteria for shite is these are characters that overall make the whole series worse. Not necessarily like, okay, Erica is a quote-unquote bad character in terms of a villain, but she's a great character, and her absence would change the story entirely.
Oh, yes.
Shite would be, this is a shit character, why did he even put him in the game? And then why is, well, no,
Well, we
shit
can just
is
delete those
bad.
those categories right now. I'll be honest. Just be rid of the categories.
There we go.
Didn't mean actually do it, but you know what?
Too bad.
I'll back it.
Okay, we can combine shit and why. Okay, so shite is the characters that we have no clue why Ryokushu 7 thought it was a good idea to add them.
Sounds good to me.
So I don't think that this character qualifies because she is a legitimate reason as
I would
to
not
the
put her-
events.
I think she has a very defined like personality and role in the flashback we see her in. She doesn't have a lot of screen time. That's true.
I think that's the biggest tragic part is that she doesn't have a lot of screen time.
Here's my case beyond screen time, and that is that we basically get to see her just as a love interest for Kinzo, and we've already seen through the entire rest of the series before that flashback that Kinzo's love is worth nothing.
Well,
That's a good point.
Well, okay,
Yeah.
is his love for Beatrice worth nothing? Because like his kids, yeah, no, he doesn't give a shit.
yeah.
I mean,
But
listen, guys.
Beatrice-
If you look at the relationship between Kinzo and any version of Beatrice in this story and describe that as love, I need you to go pick up the phone, call a therapist, and tell them you need help.
I mean, at the very least, I understand where Kinzo's coming
It's
from,
not-
but like, no.
We don't know how the relationship went, like with the Italian Beatrice and Kinzo. We don't really know if that was ever abusive or anything.
Right.
But
It
we do
wasn't
need to
until his
remember one
older
thing.
years.
We do need to remember one thing, and it's that the flashback that we get in episode 7, it's not completely objective. Because as we see in the red flashbacks in the episode 7 Tea Party, there were a lot of like guts, so to speak, that were left out. Which was, you know, where the... I forget the guy's name, but in Kinzo's flashback, there's that one asshole general who he goes against.
Oh,
Anyway, the guy who steps on the Italian Beatrice and breaks
Yeah.
her ribs and stuff like that.
Ooh,
The guy
I don't
the-
remember that. Holy fuck.
In the
It's been a long
flash,
time since I read.
yeah, in episode 7, the flashback, the way it goes that the Italians bring the gold, Kinzo's superior, some army officer, gets greedy, and then the Japanese versus the Italians start with the war, and then the army general massacres everyone until there's only Beatrice, the general, and Kinzo left. Then Kinzo kills the general, and Beatrice and Kinzo leave the island together.
I've noticed
But-
I noticed that this tier list doesn't have Beatrice II.
oh
what is
shit.
Yeah,
That is true.
Huh.
which
Well, this is sprited characters.
I
and we
mean,
reuse a
to
sprite
be-
for her.
to be fair, Beatrice II was a plot device. Like, let's just get that out of the way.
Also, part of the dramatic irony of Beatrice the Second is that she has all like similar struggles to Beatrice the Third.
That is true.
Yeah.
As for Beatrice the First,
Can we just put Beatrice the First in D or E?
I was gonna settle for
move
D,
on.
I think.
If we're spending this much time on a character who is almost
Spending
not a
this much
character,
time on
we're
a
in
side
trouble. We're in
character.
trouble.
There.
so
Oh,
now
Say, can I mention one thing? So in the flashbacks in episode 7 Tea Party, however, it is shown that Kinzo is the one who actually proposed to steal the gold from the Italians and cause the thing. Even though in his flashback, everything is shown that it was the army general who suggested it.
okay, so now we get to come.
We get to the everybody's favorite.
Now we get to come to the controversial topic of Beatrice. S tier. I
S
said
tier?
nothing else.
Like, really?
I'm sorry.
Okay, all right. Okay.
Does
all right,
anyone
let's discuss
object
this.
to S tier, first of all?
Nope.
I'd hands down throw it immediately into S tier just because of, again, how much I freaking... A large portion of why I stuck with Umineko, aside from like trying to figure out the mystery itself, was strictly because of how Beatrice was in the story, how she acted and everything.
Memorable personality.
Yes!
Essentially
Yeah, I mean, she's the
speaking-
core of the hook.
Essentially speaking, pre-Chapter 5, she stole the show. She was the best character in the question arcs, which is why I'm sad that Chapter 5 exists, and why Chapter 6 is like... But like, Chapter 2 through 4, oh my
3
god.
especially is the
I mean,
her shining
she
moment.
quite made the chapters from 1 to 4.
Oh yeah!
I mean, and let's
Maybe
be
not the
honest,
first one.
each of the books are named after her, the Golden Witch. So like, come on, S tier.
Yeah, I think that goes without saying. She deserves the S tier.
Yeah. Oh, she
From
worked her
beginning
ass
till
off
the
for
end,
that.
she is some focus. Even in the answer arcs.
Even in Chapter 5, she
Even
had
there-
that.
There they make the point that everything is stolen from her, that the game board is no longer hers, and that she is no longer the main character. That's why she plays a lesser role, because Byrne and Lambda herself say that she's no longer the main character, we're not gonna give you screen time.
And speaking of Burn, time to come to the totally
Yep.
not controversial topic.
Burn
of
Costal. Oh
I
boy.
mean, Burn brings the hype to the story.
Yeah, again, I think we should rate her based on Umineko alone, not necessarily with connections to
Take it out,
Ikubachi
Yes,
in
yeah.
mind.
yeah, definitely, just strictly with Umineko.
Guys,
Yeah,
what,
alright,
what connections could you possibly be talking about? Original character for the franchise.
Oh! Oh, wait until we get to the character that just stuck a fucking E in front of her name. Anyway, Birkenstell is. She's okay.
Listen, Birkenstocks is like a really good character, but you know, it's also if we're going by characters that make the story better or worse, are we
She
talking about
makes
the fact that she causes us a lot of pain through the story? Or are we talking about the fact that that pain ends up being very satisfying at the end? Because if it's about the latter, S tier, no questions.
It kind of is about the latter because here's the thing. Without Burn, Umineko would probably end at like chapter 5 or 6. Now, if even, no, because then Erica wouldn't exist. So it would end at chapter 4.
S tier, I'm
So-
saying.
Her
Yeah,
dynamic
Burn-
is with Lambda is, I think, the hook there.
I think
like
we
anything
can
that
safely
Lambda does,
say-
she wouldn't do without Burn.
I think we could safely say that the 3 main witches are going to be S tier.
Let's just put Lambda in there right now. We can talk about it later, but we should just put him up. Just have it over
Okay,
and
just
done
as
with.
casually, just slide her up
Sure.
here real quick.
Yeah. Because they make the story.
They bring
They
the hype.
both
They
duo.
Yeah.
And then
Actually,
Bottler.
interesting characters.
And then Bottler.
Actually, I like the fact that Burn has like 3 sprites from the 1st to 4th episode, and the 3rd one is just like the ending scene of the 4th episode.
Yeah, she doesn't have many sprites until episode 5. That's true.
Yeah.
So,
She has 3 sprites for the first 4 episodes.
so our poster boy here. That's what it all comes down to.
Our
what it all
main
comes down
human.
Is this guy S tier or is this guy A tier? Because I will accept nothing else.
We
could-
see an entire character arc with his
I mean,
growth.
He's in
I mean, can we just make a Battler
Not
tier and put him
witches
in
to
that?
accepting witches. I think that says a lot. Like the way that Battler changes throughout the story is probably unrivaled by anyone else.
There is also, though, the idea that Butler's inconsistencies do make to a little bit of an infuriating topic. If you decided at the beginning, I want to believe in the human side, boy, are you going to have a fun time chapters 5 and onward when Butler just changes teams.
Exactly. That was basically my experience.
Same.
Yeah, that was my experience going through Umineko. I was just trying to stick with the humans, and then episode 5 and 6 roll around. I'm like, I think I'm gonna go with magic a little bit here.
Yeah, I tried to stick out with humans. I tried to argue on the logic of it because, like, if you think about it, Birkenstell was like, "Yeah, I'll be your teammate," and Butler just fucking left, and she's like, "Well, fuck you, asshole."
I have a question. Does Battler include Toya? Toya's not on this list, I think.
Yeah, since Toya's not in here, maybe we can go ahead and include Toya alongside Battler then.
So if we include Toya,
Controversial statement in and of itself there.
I know.
Toya is the one who, like, in-game wrote Umineko, was it? No.
Yes,
He's
and
the only
no.
survivor.
He's
He's
the
the only survivor. I know
From
that. He's the
episode
only
3
survivor.
onwards, Toya and Ikuko are the ones that write the episodes.
Okay.
Right.
So he's the only survivor of Rokujima, and you know it has the good Titanic ending where at the end you die and you go back to the place where you really want to escape. That's
Toya's ending is
fucked up.
He actually legitimately suffers from PTSD.
Mm-hmm.
He does, but like I do like the thematic Titanic ending, even though when you think about it, that's kind of
Dark.
weird. Yeah, you get to go back to the place where you were stuck for.
Yeah,
It's
that's. I mean, granted, back whenever I first experienced that, like, I was overjoyed. But then, as time grew on, I was able to kind of calm myself down. As much as I started to realize this is actually kind of dark, I still kind of liked it, despite that.
Yeah, it shows that he can never truly escape. I think that the main characters, the witches and Butler, are just S tier because they drive the story. And I don't think anyone's gonna really argue against that because, like, even if you don't like Butler, you can't deny that he drives the story. He is an important character in that he is essentially the Keiichi of Umineko. First time Keiichi.
If we're making the case that Burn and Lambda have to be in S tier because of their awful decisions making the story better, we have no ground to stand on to say that Battler shouldn't be there as well.
Yeah.
Yes.
Still, remember, Beatrice said it herself. He's incompetent.
Should we just make a special
too.
rank for him? Just label
You're
him
quite right.
competent?
Let's put him in the very bottom in that case.
Incompetent rank.
I will
Absolute mood
defend
tourism.
Kraus by saying his battle in episode 3 or 4 actually was amazing,
about
and it
to
was an
say.
Ashino Joe reference, and Ashino Joe is my favorite anime. So
I mean, here's the thing. I think he's a shit character. And the reason I think he's a shit character is what he amounts to. Like, if you look at the impact he has and you look at his actual characterization, he doesn't get a lot of screen time. The screen time that he does have, he's just plotting against, his siblings. But unlike the other siblings, he doesn't have too much contribution. So in the case of the siblings...
Kraus feels like a real person, though.
Yes, but in the case of the siblings, you have Eva, which I don't even need to go into how important she is. You have Rudolph, which is the father of Butler and Anji. And if you take Birkenstell's sick little game, he's also possibly the culprit. And then Rosa, which has like 3 different tiers of importance. She's either a minor character whose abusiveness just goes to Maria. She's a major character to where her abusiveness makes Maria cause some of the events in Umineko, or you believe in Rosatress. Each of them are very important details. What does Kraus have, though? There's not
Kraus
much.
is the rich kid
He's
who
like
thinks
a
he's
body for
amazing
the
at business,
Twilight.
but he's not.
I think Kraus is a prime example of how some men were raised back in the day of 19 whatever. Because in episode 3 there's the Ava. Yeah, in episode 3 we have the Ava's flashbacks, and there it's specifically shown where Kraus is literally, even as a teenager, has already like inherited all of Kinzo's views regarding like women, where their place should be, etc.
Yeah.
And like
You should-
it,
you
it
should-
shows
Kraus feels like
that
a real character. I don't have any problems with the characterization. or
Kraus was the
anything like that.
successor. That's
It-
why Kraus is so much more different from all the other siblings, because
He's a
I
bad
think he
person, for
suffered
sure.
from
He's
Kinzo.
a horrible person.
So
But-
I will admit he's not shit. He's not in the shite tier. I don't know if I'm comfortable putting him above D.
Though we've made the shy tier, so
I would give him C, just because.
What?
To be fair, he does have an anime as hell battle with Gokun.
And
Are
Which
we
is a
counting
huge
anime?
That's a negative as far as I'm concerned.
And I love the
I-
Ashino Joe reference.
I actually have not seen the 4th chapter of the anime. I stopped at the 3rd.
Oh goodness.
Also put incompetent but still S tier, just so people who just click in the middle know that we still love Baller.
that would be a good addition. He does feel sympathy for her, at least what Natsui describes in Ava's diaries and the flashbacks we see the two of them have, is that surprisingly, even though he used to have all these terrible views towards women, he still does then treat Natsui very gently, and arguably even
Okay.
Jessica says that, you know,
Okay, I will
Kraus is much
admit.
more lenient than Natsui is.
I will admit. Now that I think about it, Jessica probably has the happiest family out of all of her cousins. So I will say that Natsumi and Kraus did actually raise her right. So I will. All right. Okay. Now that you've at least explained that to me, I view Kraus. When I'm looking at the tier list right now, I do put Kraus above Beatrice the First, just in terms of a character.
He may
I think Kraus
C is
suffers
my
from
vote.
the asshole syndrome. Just because he's the one sibling against the 3 other siblings, and we tend to sympathize with at least one of the 3 siblings more.
Yeah.
Like Ava gets the spotlight in episode 3, and
And
we
he
get
really
shown
does feel like a
on-
spoiled kind of older brother, rich kid.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Very true to
Feels like.
reality, yeah.
Then again, Kinzo is probably the one who fucked up his life the most by raising him
Kinzo
as a
fucked
successor.
everyone.
Oh
Well,
yeah.
Yes, that is true.
Oh, I see what you did there.
Don't worry about it. So, all right, C. Now, C makes sense.
I'd say
Better-
C.
Better than Beatrice the First, but not as impactful as Akusa.
Amakusa, yeah.
That's what I like to see.
Oh.
Yeah.
I share Cross's anime taste.
So, even though it only shows one sprite, they're actually combining the 2 sprites into Delanor's lackeys, because you don't see the other one on here. No, you do. Never mind.
Yeah, she's
there
right
is-
next to
there
the
is-
goat.
I didn't. Well, they blend into the background. So, like, these characters.
Gertrude and Cornelia.
Yeah. They don't do much.
We get a huge info drop on them in the
I
in
have
the
no
the
opinion on
final.
where to put them even. Because
You
they
get
don't really
a
add
character
anything to the
drop
story.
on them, yes, but like in the story, they might as well just be like the Yes Men or the animatrons to
They-
Delanor.
They
Yeah.
really do nothing aside from give Ryukashi an excuse to have another horny sprite in the story.
Well,
I say E tier or lower.
well, I mean, yeah.
They're a
so
metaphor
remove
for
them,
something,
then
right?
nothing
As
will
in, like,
happen.
the Seven Sisters are a metaphor for the stakes.
So
in
they
real
are
life,
meta-
but what are
they
they
are-
a metaphor for?
They are a
They're-
metaphor. They're a metaphor. They're a metaphor
Erica
for
said
the
it
church. They're the metaphor for the church. If you look at like old witch burnings, they're the metaphor for the church that hunted down witches.
Hmm.
That's true.
Yeah.
We're gonna start putting metaphors on the tier list. Are we putting metaphors on the tier list?
No, I'd say as a character.
I want to put the purple text in triple S tier if we're putting metaphors on the tier list.
Can I say something? At least from the goats theories in episode 8, Cornelia and Gertrude represent the duct tape seals / the receipt.
Yeah, that's what I was
So-
looking for.
So
Like-
they're the truth personified, but that doesn't make them good characters.
No,
They're
it
bad
doesn't.
characters.
Guys,
All right, listen. If we're putting putting tape seals on the tier list,
Allow
I just
me
want to
to
say duct tape fucking
Allow-
F tier.
Allow me to speak. They are
Overrated.
shit characters. Allow me to speak. They are bad characters.
So
I don't think
I'm
anybody
agreeing. I'm agreeing. E tier, just E tier or lower. Put them down there. Get it over with.
Okay.
The thing is, a lot of the things that they say is something that Dolono could say, and I noticed this especially in episode 5. The only times they seem to really speak is when they say a red truth that isn't something with the Decalogue. Like Dolono constantly says stuff with the Decalogue in red, but whenever there's a statement to fucking curb stomp Battler that isn't related to the Decalogue specifically, that's the only time they show up.
I'm not gonna put them in shite, but like they are also a plot device to further Erica's character. As horrible as it is, Erica is shown physically abusing them whenever she fucks
Please stand up on one leg.
Yep. And that, I don't like to call that characterization, more like holy shit to another character, but if they weren't there, then obviously we wouldn't see that side of Erica unless she did that to Dalinar.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I don't think they're shite in that sense. Is that they do add to Erica's character, kinda, and even Dolonor's when Dolonar tries to protect her, like shows that she cares about her lackeys.
So I'm gonna be honest, like chapter 7, even though it has my favorite character, kind of just flew by me. So I don't know who the fuck this is.
Claire,
Is
what
this
do you
supposed?
mean?
This
How
is
do
the
you not
culprit.
know who this is?
This is the culprit. I know that, but like my memory is foggy on the details of like her character.
Isn't her name
what I mean.
Claire?
Claire,
Yes.
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 Yeah.
Like
Basically,
okay,
but
I see
containing
her
the
in-
memories of Yasu.
I see
Claire
her
does
in
not
her
speak
he-
much.
I see her in my head as being the stand-in for the culprit, like the actual culprit, but I don't remember anything about her.
She's the idealized version of the culprit, I believe.
But okay, but why though?
Also, the first design of Beatrice that Yasu sort of.
But why though? Like, all right, I'm
Well, so
actually
essentially,
arguing.
essentially, Claire's function in the story is that in order to not just outright like say the truth of the culprit, in order for them to like still keep their story under wraps, the writer uses Claire as a device to like tell the same story without spilling the guts of the actual Beatrice.
No, that's Berncastle's
Yeah.
job to spill the
That's
guts.
exactly, actually. Even Berncastle says it herself. Or in episode 7, like when Will has finally made his deductions.
But is that a
And Claire is
cop-out?
introduced.
in the same way that during episode 8, when Shannon starts talking and like goes to explain what's going on and just stops talking, like there is a rule of the story that we don't just
7.
say the truth outright, and Claire
Chapter
is just
7.
a personification of that.
That's
Yeah.
chapter 7 that happens, but yes,
Yeah.
I get it. So, but then, is that a character? Like, I'm actually arguing, does this character belong in the shite tier?
Well,
I
I'd
think-
say
No, I don't think shite.
I think
This-
she deserves to be in the D rank. She has more use
She
than
has
Gertrude
no
and Cornelia.
character! She has no character. She is
I find-
literally the personification of a plot device.
and
on
the true
that
culprit.
grounds, I will agree this is a
Yes.
low-ranking character. However, it is a very, very, very important personification of a plot device.
Okay,
Yeah,
is
I
she
do feel
more...
like she's the idealized version of Yasu.
All
Yeah,
right,
can
I
say
will,
Yasu isn't on the tier list here as a character, so perhaps we should consider Claire as because Claire is the closest we get to
Well,
Yasu.
is this tier list about their character, their importance? Because yeah, she's more important than the 2 church characters we just put on, but the 2 church characters actually say fucking shit. Like I don't remember
if
anything.
we want
she
to rate
said.
Yasu separately from Beatrice, Cannon, and Shannon, I'd say
Oh no,
we should.
no, the characters are intertwined, but like this sprite tier list is telling me, hey, I have to put this character at another rank other than Beatrice when they're the same
Listen,
character.
All I'm saying is that Seiji Nakamura is the best character in the Mansion Murder series. If you know, you know. But if you don't know, you
I
gotta
don't.
catch up.
I mean, to be honest, I don't remember this character really much.
Okay.
Like-
She
So
only
I
appears
will-
in
I will
the,
settle.
in the
I will
episode
settle to.
7
I will
tea
settle
parties.
with D tier with an asterisk for this.
All right.
Okay.
Put
I
it
view
with the
her
other
as the
Beatrice.
same okay, yes. When you compare it to the other Beatrice, it is essentially the same thing.
Yeah. So D tier sound good?
Yep.
All right.
I'm fine with that.
The one whose name I mispronounced the first time I saw it. Dielinor. It's Dullinor.
Lana? I mean,
I called her Delanor.
Something,
until I
something, great
realized that it
equalizer,
wasn't
something,
that.
something.
It's easier to have the O in there, I think. Dolanor.
I can
So,
never pronounce it
I
right.
don't think S, but I definitely think like A or B.
I definitely say that she is deserving of the A rank. I would agree with that.
Yeah,
first
same
A rank?
Yeah, I think she deserves as our first spot for A rank. I think.
I'm fine with that.
I want to say yes, but I also want to say that Will deserves that same spot once we get to him later.
I'm okay with that.
Oh, I'm definitely okay with that too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
same.
All right, so
I think Dom
Miles
is
Miles
important.
Bredon is an excellent detective, and if we can't give Blanna credit for that, what else can we say?
Okay.
yeah.
I think Dolanor shows an important,
I'll
like,
be here with
she
no
helps us
mystery references all day.
sympathize with the witches, in a way. When she gets introduced, she goes to the tea party with Battler, and there they talk, and there it's like discovered that she doesn't battle against witches only, but also it's just evil magic in general, and that's when Battler starts questioning if there can be good magic and bad magic.
Like, essentially, she's on the side of the witches without being the sins of purgatory that do it maliciously.
Right.
And I like
Yeah.
I
I'm
think that's
okay
a very
with it being
good
A.
comparison there.
And one of the reasons Battler gets to discover the truth, or arrive to it rather, is because of the Decalogue that Dolanor introduces. And I think the Nox Decalogue plays an important role in the answer arcs.
all
So-
9 of them, because we don't count the 5th
And-
one. Have any of you guys ever looked up what the 5th Decalogue actually
Yeah,
is?
there must be no Chinaman in this story.
yeah, I
it's
saw that.
Kind of weird.
Okay,
So-
can I
so-
explain this for anyone who's curious?
Oh no.
Yeah. So I'll name what it is. The 5th Decalogue is that a China man cannot be the culprit,
Yes.
meaning someone from China. That sounds very odd, but go ahead.
Essentially, it was Ronald Knox's somewhat dated way of saying, don't make it the outside foreigner. Like, don't make it the obvious outsider to the story. If you're gonna have, like a cast in a British house in the countryside and have a Chinese butler, it better not fucking be the Chinese butler, because he's like the obvious odd one out.
Okay.
It's
Basically,
Crucial
despite it
stereotypes.
being very old school racist language, it means don't be racist.
It's the same way as having a Japanese story and having the Gaijin be the antagonist. Like, no, dude, come on. Although that doesn't mean that they can't be a part of it. It's just too easy for them to be the mastermind, though. And, like, yes, don't be racist, but also, why couldn't the foreigner also
Guys.
come up with that?
Guys,
Like,
I don't
they're their
want
own
to ruin the
character.
fun, but we need to speed up.
Yeah, we gotta get on Angie here.
Oh god, no. The Deus Ex Machina.
Oh god.
I'll never let Chapter 3's ending go. Because
I think
Easy
she's not
innocent.
an Angie supporter, but I mean, still, I think she would go an A or B for me.
Oh yeah, no, she's a great character. I'm just
I
saying
will-
her introduction was so fucking infuriating to me.
I will say A.
I'm fine with A.
Yeah.
Yeah, we witness
Well,
growth.
okay, wait a minute, hold on.
Oh no.
Hold
Now,
on.
now I'm backtracing and saying why not S? Even though I don't like this character as much as the other characters, she's a very central character to the entire plot. She drives the answer arcs essentially.
She's a central character. She's realistic. To me, she's a little bit boring.
Here's my argument for not
But she's the
putting Angie in A.
gateway into what happens outside of Rokinjima.
This is true. However, kind of what is set up by the various interactions between Ikuko and Angie is that the Angie we see in the story isn't actually Angie herself. It's kind of like this imagined version that Toya has of the sister that he's basically forgotten. And
Character
in
did not
essence
fail.
there, Anjay is just given all of the questions of the story to ask the author. So when we get into episodes 6 and 7, like half of the action is just Anji in the house with Ikuko asking dumb fucking questions. And they're very important dumb questions, but that's most of her role for like the back half of the story.
But then you get to chapter 8. Like, holy shit. She unravels everything. She becomes a major part of chapter 8. I would say that if you're going to put her in A tier, then you'd have to put Butler in A tier.
My argument.
Everything.
My
partnership
argument
with
is
Erica is really
my argument is more specifically that Anji doesn't have much agency in the story. Like everything that she does is kind of like carried along for her, and the only moment of power that we actually see her really have, aside from the choice at the very end and aside from the Deus Ex Machina at the end of episode 3, are all fairly just kind of, externally driven.
But like that's
but
her
that's not the
character.
point.
Her
Yeah,
character
because
is an
most of the
external
things that
character.
defined her happened
Ye-
before she was born or when she was a very
Well,
little kid.
okay, yeah, I do agree in a sense that because she's separated from Rokujima, there's almost like this curtain that she can't get past, and her whole character arc is trying to figure out what actually happened, get past that curtain, find out the truth, and it's a very driving story, and a lot of people are really interested in the Angie plot. I'm not gonna say I'm one of them. I was more interested in the Butler plot, but there were a lot of people that read Umineko, and once they got to the Angie part, that was it. That is where they focused all their attention.
Really?
With half truths, full truths. I'm gonna say that
Listen,
she's a very.
I just want to say
central
I'm
character.
making this argument as a big Anji stan. I still think she should be A tier.
Because
I'm
of her
arguing she
importance-
should be S. I'm arguing that she should be the same tier as Butler, because if she isn't, that just feels weird to me.
You know what?
If she
Actually, I
had
am
just the
okay
same-
with putting Anji in incompetent. Can we do that?
I think we can do that.
Maybe.
Fuck it, we're doing it.
Bring something up, and it's that.
Incompetent S tier.
Screw it. She's incompetent.
Can I say something?
Incompetent S tier.
In episode 8, it's kind of there's one criticism I have of NJ and her plot, and it's the moment in episode 8 when she reads the Book of the Single Truth, because before that she constantly has the whole thing, should I read the book or not, or can I move past without knowing, and everything of that sort. And then all the people in the Golden Land are also praying that she'll change her mind, she won't read the book and everything. She reads the book. She opens Pandora's box and she dies, gets punished, and it's even told that from now on, forever and forevermore, she'll be in oblivion, trying to.
That's what I
deny
mean
the
by her
truth
not
and everything.
having agency. Like, her characterization says that she should have learned not to open it, but we
she's-
still see the author write her to open it because that's what she had to do.
Yeah,
Because she's this imagined version of herself.
Incompetence runs in the family.
All right.
10 minutes later, when she is in the oblivion, when she's been torn to bits, jumped off the roof and everything, she's learned the truth. All of a sudden, she's resurrected in the Golden Land like nothing happened, as if there was no consequences, even though, like,
There
moments prior were shown that, okay, now that she's opened the book, there's no turning back. Now that she knows the truth, she refuses to accept it, and she won't ever get over it. And even the narration says that she'll be in eternal torment. Except the next chapter starts, she wakes up in the Golden Land, and
Like
nothing happens.
happened. Yeah, I do agree that
One
that's
criticism, because
very
it's like
weird.
amounted to nothing,
Yeah.
essentially.
I get that that's very weird,
And that's for growth. But
I feel like that shouldn't have happened. I feel like because that's almost a stand-in for the reader who's trying way too hard to solve Umineko. Like if we actually did know the exact one-to-one truth and it wasn't just like theory crafting, then like a lot of us wouldn't accept that.
Is this just gonna be an Umineko podcast?
This is what you brought.
I don't know what you expected when you asked us to tier list.
That is true.
You asked a bunch
shot
of
myself
Let's
in the foot.
players who Let's Played this game to tier list. I don't
I
know
shot
why
myself
you
in the
thought
foot on that one.
differently.
All right, so we're up to Frudo Erika.
yes,
Oh boy,
totally
let's have fun
original
with this one,
character.
huh?
Yes.
Hey. No, hey.
she introduces the
I
very
think A.
concept. She introduces the very concept of bad detectives, or like that the human side can be bad, and that the witch side can be sympathizable. I don't know
Okay.
if that's a word.
I
So-
just
I
want to be clear.
I just want
that
to put
if
her
we
in
are
the same.
putting, if we should put her in the same place as we put Anji in terms of A's and S's. We can't put her in incompetent. That's just unfair. But she has the same lack of agency because she's basically steered in third person by Bernkastel. She introduces a lot of important details to the plot, but doesn't have a lot of control over how that's actually done.
She's
in and of
introduced
herself.
as a stand-in for Bernkastel, but then
Yeah.
it's shown that she is very much her own person later on
I have
when
an
she
argument.
actively.
I think this is the
She's
same with
Bernkastel
Anji.
in the body of an unstable teenager.
We're
might-
just going to be repeating the same arguments as Anji. So if we were going to put Anji in A, we could put her in. We can put Erica in A as well.
But we put Anji in incompetent S.
Incompetent, yeah.
She's her own special.
I
rank.
would be, I'd be willing to settle for that as well because I do have one criticism of Erica as well. And
Erica's not incompetent. That's the problem.
well, I'd
So,
say incompetent is
She
currently
more than
here
competent, to be honest.
between S and A.
Here's my argument for A rank. She introduces, for me, I did not know about this being a thing. She introduces the concept of detective's authority.
Yes.
That was pretty important.
Detective's
like,
authority is a big
Something
thing.
Della could have had all this time, but didn't realize he had the right to. That's
Yes, exactly.
thing.
And I feel like that was a very important sort of aspect to actually add to the story because me, I'm stupid. So I did not know detective's authority was actually a thing.
I mean, it's not really. If you actually read a lot of the stories that Ryukashi like ripped explicitly from, a lot of them don't really have detectives.
Oh shit.
Yeah, and then there were none does not have a detective.
I mean, this is a fantasy mystery, so...
Okay, then here's my new argument for A rank. She and Delanar look cute together.
Yeah, that... I mean, I was trying to think, why would I justify her being above Delanar and Will? But, like, on the same level as the witches. Like, that's my main thing.
The thing is, she does grow as a character, though that's not given too much time.
Right.
Especially
in
episode
the
6.
first place.
In episode 6, when she thinks that she realizes the closet trick that Beatrice is posing in the duel, she finally sees that, she comes to the conclusion where multiple truths can be true at the same time, and, like, even goes to say, how many truths have I missed throughout my whole life just by searching for one single truth?
Maybe it's not the single truth, but all the truths I didn't find along the way.
Yeah, exactly. And I think this shows a lot of good character growth, but it doesn't last long because then she gets shot by Beatrice because the answer was wrong. And in episode 8, she goes back to the book of the single truth mindset. Like, even though her last moments in episode 6 were self-realizations where multiple truths can be true at the same time, and she's finally supposedly, like, moved on from her boyfriend stuff from the past. All of a sudden, in episode 8, she's a mentor to NJ and says that only the single truth matters, and you should search for it with me, and etc. I think
It's almost like she's a blue-haired girl in a Ryukishi 07 novel that forgets details right before her death.
That is true.
Whoa. Hold on there.
No, I'm not going anywhere near that.
I see what you did there.
Okay, so
A.
Ava.
We agree, A.
Should we?
Eva-
I'm good with A.
Why are they separate? Why is Eva and Evatrice
That's what I was getting ready to ask. Should we rank them together?
I think we should rank them together.
I think we slap them together.
It doesn't make sense to not rank them together.
Yeah.
But, like, they are different people. That's the problem.
So here's
Like,
my
they're
argument. I
huge
feel
different.
okay. As much as I
actually
feel like
different
Delanar and
characters.
Erica are like ultra important, I'm having a hard time deciding whether I want to put Ava and Avatrice into either the B rank or the A rank.
Evatrice in B, Eva in A, because Eva's actions caused a ripple effect that affected Angie. Whereas Evatrice is just cruel for the sake of being cruel, and it's just a witch interpretation of her.
That's
a mere echo.
Yeah. I have no problem with holding Ava above.
We don't even see that much of her. Like, the version of Avatrice that we see in episode 4, that's not actually her.
3.
That's just a black witch. And even then, when Ava is summoned to the scene with Anjay, that's just Amakusa.
Yeah.
So
So
important
I
details to keep
say
in mind.
I say Eva in A, Evatris in B, because Evatris is nothing more than an echo or shadow interpretation, like the witch interpretation. If we were adding...
introduces the idea that there could be a witch worse than Beatrice. And
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie.
Of sympathizing with
I
Beatrice,
really
so she
like-
does serve a purpose.
Really liked Ava and little Angie's, Halloween quiz in episode 8.
Yes.
It's just, yeah, you are right. Evatris is absolutely cruel to the point of just unfair, because yeah, resurrecting someone just to kill them again is kind of fucked.
Yeah, kind of is.
Talking about unfair things.
I think it shows a good point about like youthful cruelness or whatever it's called, because technically Evatris is just a 12-year-old or something. I don't know how old.
This
But-
website is not cutting the difference between Featherine and her human counterpart,
Oh shit!
even
it's
though we
not.
just had Eva and Evatris.
It is. Wait. I have a reason for that. You can't rank a god.
Well, technically they have the entire same personality, and
Fair enough, Voyagers cannot be ranked. So, her importance is beyond measure. But
for
she's
the
kind of
7th expansion universe.
yeah for the 07th
Great.
expansion, especially
Ooh.
But okay, in Umineko, I will say-
Kikonia Phase 3 spoilers, guys. Kikonia Phase 3 spoilers. Watch out.
Don't tell me.
I will say that she kind of just acts as a non-caring outside person in, like almost like the detective that's picking up a cold case. You know what I mean?
I can.
She's
It's
also
like-
the stand-in for Ryukishi.
I never made that connection, but now that you say that, yeah.
see that.
I can give you a great example.
But
In episode 8,
in my
in
head,
episode-
that also means that Hanyu is a stand-in for Rikishi, and I find that adorable.
well, at least in one scene. I don't know if it's across.
Ryukishi portrays himself as the dumbest character in the franchise. Confirmed.
For Umineko alone, I don't know if she
For
is,
Umineko alone.
if she has that much character growth.
I would
or
say A tier just because I feel like too much of her role is given
Passive.
to explaining things that
Yeah.
are kind of condescending to
I
the
agree,
audience.
and we really
She's
don't
a
get that much
very
time with her.
passive character. You know what I mean? She's a very mysterious, passive character that has a lot of impact, but doesn't have the flair that those three witches at the top do.
Yeah, like if this was a tier list based on who would win in a fight, we'd need like 5 tiers higher to put her on. but-
Yeah.
invents the story in a
We
sense,
saw what
and there's
she-
nothing we can do
We
to
saw
stop her.
what she did to fucking Lambda
We
Delta.
could
Holy shit.
freaking take almost all the anime and just put Featherin on the top.
Mhm.
If this was a power tier list, there'd be no question.
Okay, so
Um,
this character we have to rank with her sister. Or brother.
yeah, there.
Yeah,
Zephyr and Furifuri.
I'm gonna say D. It's the same role in the story as the other two characters we have.
I
in D.
object.
Let's keep our reasoning consistent and just go with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that.
They are at least characters, so they're above the,
Well, let's hear
the
us
court.
out.
They're
Heaven.
plot devices.
Well, they're
It's about
they're
a-
better. They're better than the two angels that we put at the very bottom because they actually have character.
Mhm.
Sure.
Though who is Zephyr and who is Furfur?
I forgot.
The answer is yes.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, yes, you can interchange.
They are technically
Honestly.
a part of Yasu too, which
Hmm.
kind of boosts their importance at least.
We
Well,
can't
I will
rank
say,
Yasu.
if we want to be
can't-
consistent,
we
want to be
can't
consistent,
rank Yasu though, because if we do, we have to rank like 5-6 different fucking characters. Because it's like, how many personalities can I have?
That's why I suggested we rank Yasu in Claire's place, but
yeah, okay. So Zephyr and Furfur, I think D, just so that we're consistent. We could maybe argue them up to C if we think that their portrayal of the relationship between George, Shannon, Jessica, and George. Sorry, George, Shannon, fucking-
Jessica and George. It's canon.
Oh my god. Canon, yeah. Basically, if we think that portrayal of that relationship is important enough, I could maybe agree with a bump up to C, but
So
Otherwise,
Gap.
I think B.
They only really deliver exposition, really, even in the trial.
So
I don't think they deserve C.
I will
No,
say
they
I did have a
see.
lot of fun voicing them when I did a read through of the book, but
Mm.
other than that, I don't have much attachment.
And in Golden Fantasia, I do like how one of them you can clearly hear a male voice. It's a nice touch.
I just
Yeah, one
love
of them
from start to
has a
finish when they're
very
introduced.
deep
Deeper
voice,
voice.
and one of them has a soft
Very
voice.
high voice. Yeah.
Yes.
It's
And
yeah.
Ryukishi has said that he told his staff which one of them is a male or female. His staff.
Probably because his
Oh
staff
my God.
wouldn't fucking stop asking, just like the rest of the internet.
Now I'm wondering questions about Yasu herself or himself. I don't know anymore. But let's move on to Gap.
Yeah,
Um,
Gop with the gap in the dress.
Gap. I remember something about her that was extremely important, and I'm sad that I forgot. But I
Summoning
remember her
holes
being...
and kicking.
Maybe
the song
episode
that
7.
plays when Gap fights George is sick.
It is good.
Yeah, she's
Da-da,
very good.
da-da.
But I remember something. I can't.
She was
put my
technically the
hand on it.
proto-Beatrice. The Beatrice that Yasu imagined when she was a
Mhm,
child,
mhm.
and they
Another-
put in
another
her
Alright,
actually-
goddamn
I just need to
Yasu.
ask the room. I just need to ask the room. Do we here subscribe to the theory that Gup is the allegory for Nanjo?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, good.
Yes, that's what I
love
remember.
But yeah, it is like all of Beato's allies. They do have the counterparts, except Gab, and that's why I feel like she isn't as important. But
Come on.
I don't know.
It's 100% a stand-in for Nanjo. Who makes corpses disappear in murder mystery? It's the Doctor.
I hate that you fucking brought that up because I'm reminded of that cursed image.
I never heard about that.
Yeah.
Well,
I
it-
never
it's
really
still-
thought about it before, but now that you said it, it kind of, sort of.
Well, if Renove is
Well,
Genji,
I never really thought about it, but now
is
that you
virtually,
said it,
but
I
then
never wanted to
obviously,
think about it.
Yeah.
Now that you've said it, I never want to think about that image again.
Too bad.
Okay,
You'll
so
be cursed by it.
I want to say C or B. Something is gnawing at the back of me saying that she had a very big importance. Like at least on a theory crafting side.
Beatrice.
At least on a theory crafting side, I think I remember something important about her, but I cannot remember it right now.
I think I'll be satisfied putting her in the C rank.
In C?
She's
Yes,
kind of
C.
like adults in the sense that
I'm fine with
just
C.
relevant on the game
Is
board.
she cross level? Because Kraus is in the C rank. Is she
I think-
Kraus level?
I personally think Kraus is better than her, but
Ooh.
Ooh.
We can again have like top C and bottom C, like the sense of like who's more important.
Maybe
Just-
like
I
rearrange them
feel
like
Those are
Kraus
some
is
this.
a more
fighting
rounded
words. Those
character
are some
than
fighting
Gap,
words you just sent out.
If we
though.
will include the order in the ranks, we'll be
There.
here forever.
Yeah. All right, our good
Genji.
boy Genji.
Genji, the infallible butler, the one who
Do we
does
subscribe
his
to the
job.
theory that he's gay? I
That
just want to ask that he's gay, because that's apparently
Sure.
surprisingly popular of a
sorry.
it doesn't
theory.
affect the story one way or another for me.
It
but
does.
sure.
I mean, sure, if you want. It doesn't affect.
I'll accept
In my head canon, he's gay. Okay, and what does that do?
I will-
Absolutely
I
nothing
mean,
for the
that's
character.
Nothing adds to the character.
I will accept
Well,
this.
except maybe that even though Kinzo was doing all sorts of things with women, he didn't decide to step in.
That's a
I mean,
terrible
listen,
thought.
it doesn't even if we can't agree whether or not he's gay, we can all agree that he was going in there and just fucking downing absinthe for most of the story.
Yeah.
So the
I would
question-
say D.
D.
I mean, he's
He-
very calm.
Yeah.
He doesn't really does stuff. He
I'm
does.
gonna,
he
I'm
has
gonna-
that
I'm gonna
problem.
push C. I'm gonna push C. Here's why I push C.
Okay.
Because his mistakes in terms of making enabling Kinzo's decisions have one of the biggest ripple effects in the franchise. And also, there are so many cool moments where we basically get to see that blurred line between him and Ronove, like when he
Yeah.
unveils the witch at the end of
We're
episode 2.
missing a
That's
big
like such a
detail.
holy shit moment when he like throws the knife at the butterfly.
We're missing a
Yeah.
big detail too, though. We're missing a big detail.
Mhm.
He's the character that explains the solution to the epitaph to the reader.
Oh,
That is also true.
Yeah.
That is
he's-
true.
Right.
I will say he's C tier based solely on the fact that he explains the riddle to the epitaph.
He also enables Yasu to the path that she takes, kind of like Kurosawa.
Solutions page to maths textbook confirmed triple S tier.
He's also very,
Triple
very good
S
at his
tier.
job. He's better at his job than anybody else in the story.
He does save Shannon, if I remember. He does save Shannon in the book. Shannon kind of backflips in the anime from the evil canon, but he does save Shannon from being beheaded.
Well, I
in
mean, the
book.
baby backflips off of a cliff and he rescues.
Okay, maybe we
The
bump
baby
him up to B
too,
tier
so-
then.
Maybe he's a demon. We know he's a demon. He has to be a demon, but he's so cool as a kid. But he doesn't have a lot of dialogue. I'm comfortable with C. I think B might be pushing it.
Mm,
I think C.
okay, yeah,
Okay.
We get
We all
shown a
agree
lot
with
how
C?
he's important to the story, but we don't really see him grow,
yeah.
is how I see things.
We all
What does
we all
he
good
need to
with C?
grow? He's already a perfect flower.
You can't make something that's perfect grow anymore.
Oh,
If the story was framed from another point of view, he would be a Mary Sue, which is good that it's not framed from that point of view.
That's
Mm.
why I really wish that we would see more of him, like, his thoughts, and hear about, like, his perspective on seeing Kinso do all the things that he did. We never really get that, except in the manga, I guess, briefly in episode 8.
I should read the manga. Anyways, George.
let's go with our boy
Shite.
George.
It is logically inconsistent to put him in shite tier, but I want to do it anyway.
No, can't do
You don't
that.
like people with glasses?
I'm fine with that.
We're gonna put him in shite.
Listen, if we accept that this man snubbed the letter on purpose,
Wait, you think that as well?
I don't think that as well, but that's the argument I'm going to use anyway.
A lot
Thought I
of
was the only one. Oh my
a lot
god.
a lot of people put George in the Rositris theories that he was at least an accomplice, one that
We
may
don't talk
have
about that
realized.
here.
Oh, come on, Rositris
Well,
is one of the
okay.
greatest parts of this canon.
Okay, but like when you think about it, like he may have started out as an accomplice and then he was a loose end that had to be tied. If you put it from that point of view, he is definitely an important character, and you can't forget the people who have that point of view. I don't think he's E tier. He definitely does do things in the story. He would have to be on the
So-
same level, if
I
not
hate
one
to-
level below Shannon, or not Shannon, Jessica.
I do hate to admit it, but he does have an arc of growth, in the sense that at least what we get to know of him, how he was an incel, but then eventually grows out of that phase.
Yeah.
I mean,
You know.
I will admit his whole character that we see on the outside is I want to marry Shannon, and my mom says no, and that's kind of his arc. But he does have his badass moments,
oh
like
yeah.
when he fought Gap.
That's
I
why
don't think-
I want
You
to
wanna
get
put
his
him in
Here's the
rank.
question I want
I
to
wanna
put
put him in
question I
tier
want to
C.
pose.
As well, I think, in the sense that he was going against Ava's wishes. I think that was a pretty important scene as well.
I
Yeah.
want to put
Here's a
him in
question I want to
tier-
pose to you, though.
What?
Mhm.
I think that George's portrayal in the episodes that we are kind of accepted that Beatrice herself wrote is better than the ones that we see
Yeah.
written supposedly by Toya and Ikiko.
That's a pretty
And-
common theory.
And if we accept that, then we also kind of have to accept that, you know, one of those viewpoints is kind of more accurate than one of the others, right? So do we agree that you know, Beatrice's kind of sympathy towards George's portrayal is more
Well,
accurate, or do we
it-
think
Are you
that
saying that
how
it's
it's
Toya's
shown in the
incel
story.
George is the truth?
Well, okay. Well, here's the thing. If we accept that Beatrice is actually Yasu and that Shannon might have been a part of that, then yeah, Beatrice would have a soft spot for Canon. So of course she's gonna romanticize did I say Canon? George. Of course she's gonna romanticize George over anyone else because he was someone important to her life at that point. But when, yeah, as he mentioned, the actual portrayal, the literal reinterpretation of him is more of a blander character.
Literal in enormous quotations, yet again.
Okay.
So, but like, here's the thing. We have to take into context that the story is written by Beatrice. You know, the question arcs and everything. Those are, you know, inherent to the plot devices of the entire book. Those were chapters that we, the reader, went through and we experienced and we enjoyed. Him as a character in those, I'd say, is on the level, or at least one level below Jessica's. So I want to say he's either C or B. I don't want to put him in D or below because I just don't think that that's an accurate portrayal of where he would be.
Yeah, I don't think he's
As I said, it would be
badly.
logically inconsistent, but I want to do it anyway.
I mean, we could just add another tier and put memes, but that's
Memes.
a whole
A tier
other
called
thing.
George. I mean, I absolutely despise him, but I hate to admit it, but he is like there isn't. He has a growth arc.
Not even
Not in the traditional sense, but it is there.
He has a growth arc. Not even like bringing in the
He has a growth arc with how it's
possibility of
presented in the
Rosatris.
story. We don't know if that's true or not. But
Not even bringing in the possibility of Rosatris, but just him on his own. He's a good character. He's a good character. I think that he is at the level or right below Jessica. I think Jessica had more development than he had, definitely. But we can't discount him altogether. Sure, he wasn't super major. As we learned on later when we finally figured out what characters are important and what characters are not. But for the first couple chapters, he was really solid.
Yeah.
The thing is, the only times we really learn anything about him are the conversations he and Shannon have in the Rose Garden Arbor, and then the magic scenes where he often fights something.
And those are from Yasu's perspective, and I understand that, and he's being romanticized in those. But I mean, if you're reading a novel from someone who's talking about someone else, wouldn't you also say that in the context of the story he would be important specifically to Yasu at that point? He's a very big plot device. For one, he's a good character. He has a growth, and generally, I'd say he's a badass. And
Well, then
yeah,
again, it's said about game board pieces that they don't really act outside of their own nature. That pieces tend to perform best by being themselves. So that's why
I want to draw a line right below C or a C list and say he has to be C list or above. Whatever you guys put him at from there on, fine. But I won't accept D or E or shite.
Okay.
I'd say C or B.
I'll
I
settle
think-
for C.
I say we will go for C, just because he does have some sense of development. And again, I think it was with what you guys said it earlier. He was pretty established in the first couple of chapters, and he was a pretty solid character.
Yeah, it's easy to grasp what kind of person George is.
Yeah, he's
where
he's
did he
willing
buy a
to
green
be
suit?
selfish and.
I'm not totally just saying this because the body portion of my own sprite is based on his second costume.
You totally are.
I mean,
I knew it. All right,
the ulterior motive.
let's go. Let's go with C.
Goat-kun. My man Goku.
Who can hate Goku?
I think
Hard
go-
one of
chapter
you
to
hates
late, to
Goku.
be honest.
I mean,
Where did
in
we say we
terms
were
of
putting metaphors again?
shite. I mean, okay, it
Oh.
depends, because there's so many goats and they all do
Okay,
different things. Like, is
To
this
be
the
honest,
giant
it's
goats?
not really a character.
Okay, wait,
it's-
is this the giant goats at the end that are the interpretation of the readers that tried to tear apart the story? Or are these
goats
just a
everywhere
random
is
servants?
different.
If we
From
count
the-
this as the readers, do we put ourselves to shite?
Yeah.
I mean, Umineko readers are shy. Fan theories.
Absolutely.
we are all shite.
I think Ryukishi just needed an excuse to draw minions for Beatrice, because imagine this if, we got all these descriptions about the magic scenes where the goats appear and everything. If there wasn't a character sprite for them, those would be a lot more unimaginative. It would almost seem that
Kind
the
of like
humans are,
Higurashi.
yeah, that the
So
characters
they-
are alone in a room.
He learned from Higurashi, I get it, and now he has giant goat men and they eat people, and that makes a terrifying ending to chapter 2. But they're also the interpretation of the readers tearing apart the story, and I think that
Yeah.
makes them the shite tier.
They
at
tear
least.
about Battler, they tear Kinso up, they also
tear
tear
everything up.
Oh yeah.
They tear
apart
Beatrice
Beatrice.
up.
So I
Well,
think
they're
definitely
minions.
She gets torn
deserving
up.
of the shite tier.
Yeah.
Yep.
They
Pretty
are
much.
nothing. They have no character. The only time they talk are the reader's interpretation.
They're the flair
and-
for magic scenes. basically.
Yeah, and they're
All
really
right,
just the
it's not made
argument.
for
Like
readers.
they're not really the reader's interpretation. They're just the argument interpretation.
I like
Like
decorations.
this guy is evil, or this guy is good, or
This
this
is
guy's
not
the
a
culprit.
character.
So,
Like I would say the reader's interpretation would probably be another character, but not the goats. I think we can move on saying they're shite. Anyways,
You know, it actually feels like we've gone through most of the hard hitters.
now here's the
Rest of
real
the characters
question.
on the list are.
we still
I mean,
haven't gotten to
there's a couple,
Natsumi
but-
though. We still haven't gotten to Natsumi or Bottler's parents.
Here's the real question. How do we rank Godatrice?
That's Goda? That's
Okay,
Goda?
I think Goda.
I'm fine with
It's
any
not
rank.
Goda is
not-
serves as an interesting.
I'm used to
character.
I'm used to the Ryukishio 7 arc, so I'm like, wait, that's Goda?
Yes.
Oh my god. Goda makes the best scenes with Gluttony, but other than that,
Oh,
Goda
they hate
introduces
shite.
an interesting viewpoint, in my opinion, where he's like the only one who was genuinely innocent and not really wrapped up in the family business / sins.
I mean,
Yeah.
he's innocent, but he's also a dick.
He's a dick. That's the arguments there. But he does. He is the character who's shown that, like, even an innocent person, innocent. He did have a fucking some fiasco going on at a hotel, but that's beside the point.
Yeah.
I just want to say, like, in the context of the story, I don't want to rank him the same list as D.
He gets wrapped up in something that he
Has
doesn't
anybody
deserve.
here read the short story in Tsubasa about Goda?
No.
I have.
I did, but I don't
Dude.
remember it.
It's basically Goda being introduced to the whole Beatrice Smith legend,
Oh, okay.
and then
So
being
where
pranked on by Yasu.
so where do we put him? Like, he's an enigma because he doesn't do much.
I would
But
say
I-
D.
D? Are we? Wait. Are we coming?
I'd say C,
No,
actually.
no.
I'm sorry.
C. Wait, we're ranking him above the fucking Zephyr and Furfur?
I
No,
don't
only
want to.
because
I
I
say
think
D.
it's super unique in a way that even a totally innocent person can get caught up in someone else's misfortune and like.
Yeah, but like, what does he accomplish in the
He really
story?
doesn't add anything to the story, more or less.
That's why I'm saying he might be either E or D.
Because of my personal bias, I cannot rank him above Zephyr and Furufuri.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. E or
I'll
D.
settle for D.
I'll settle for E. Fuck him. He doesn't do much.
He's the
Actually,
game. He's the Game Board piece. So that's something.
The only thing, in my opinion, that he does is be a great character for Gluttony to bounce off of, and that's it.
he does
mean,
get he does get his moments to shine sometimes in the magic
He
scenes.
gets his moments to shine as a body count.
Yeah, that too. There was that one occasion when he protected Shannon and George when they were in Natsui's room.
Yes,
When
Shannon
he's
and
holding the-
George.
He's holding the door so that
The
the two can
the
find a magic
human-
mirror.
Oh my god, this is great.
Uh,
Time for Hideyoshi.
Hideyoshi's a good guy, but C.
Yeah,
You're deep.
I have no
I
problem.
wanna
with him being
put
C
him in shite just because I fucked up his name the whole time. Okay, but seriously, yeah, not as good as his wife, definitely.
I would love
But
a
the
Hideyoshi spinoff.
dynamic is what's
I'm
important.
comfortable putting him in the same tier as his son. You know, all
Yeah.
honesty.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah,
I support
but we
this
have to
endeavor.
put Jessica above George, so I want to put her in B.
I was getting ready to put her up to B, actually.
Like, she has great moments, more so than George, especially when she fights back. Holy shit.
Oh.
Holy shit, that's great.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm fine
And
with that.
we cannot forget the Toho reference. Oh my god.
Somebody
I
had to
fucking
explain
died.
that one to me.
Oh, you didn't
I
see
think all
that?
the conversations about, you know, her having, like, encouraging Canon to be himself, and, you know,
Yes.
if someone needs to wear a mask somewhere else, then somewhere else they can be their true self. And I think that plot point, like,
Again,
about her
again,
makes
though,
her great.
again, and this kind of stems from the fact that after reading and after finding out who Yasu is, I want to say Yasu might be bi. I think that he or she, it's really hard to say. I think it's a
they-
Don't worry, we're not gonna get canceled. I promise.
Yes.
I will
at the
take
very
the
least,
fall.
At the very least, one of the genders, but definitely bi. I want to say that they romanticize Jessica just like they romanticize George.
Hmm.
And so at the
Yeah.
end, her actual character, written by the two people that gave a non-biased account, yeah, no, she didn't really amount to much. But those question arcs that were written by Beatrice, like, oh yeah, definitely.
Jessica,
They
I
were
think the important
romanticized.
part about these like game board characters, kind of. I mean, in Prime, obviously, Jessica never goes through like love trials and discusses too much
I'm
about
sorry?
with canon.
Chapter 6, hello?
hello.
What about it?
Chapter 6, was the whole subplot of Chapter 6 was
No,
the
I
canon
meant
Shannon.
in real life that Jessica doesn't go
Okay,
through a
real
love
life,
trial.
not
Yeah.
okay,
in
real
Prime.
life Jessica. Okay.
Yes. In episode 6, totally she goes through all kinds of things, but in Prime, obviously nothing happens. In the family conference, she gets fucking massacred by Kiri. So
Ooh.
if we really think about like what really happened, then obviously yeah, Jessica doesn't have that much. But I think with like these game board characters and all these romanticizations, I think it's like it shows the side of them what they could become in like certain situations, and
Yeah, because
if like arranged
Umineko-
in a certain way.
Umineko almost demands like 3 separate tier lists from like 3
kinda
different
does.
points of view, and
Yeah.
we're trying to make it all in one. So it's like, yeah, she just got fucking executed by the culprit. You know, depending on if you believe that scene where Rudolph and Kiri just fucking massacre everyone. If you believe that's true or not, yeah, she doesn't do much. But yeah, you can't forget, like, since this is a story with fun, magic and romance and everything, we have to account for the other chapters. So of
Yeah,
course she
it's
gets
basically a lot of
B-tier.
what ifs, and what ifs
Canon-
where characters act to themselves. Like
Canon, on
try
the
to-
other hand,
He was a cardboard wall that Jessica helped, just basically broke down to actually be more enjoyable.
so below Shannon, we're agreeing below Shannon.
My
when we play
friend who did
Shannon
not
up.
know it was an expansion at all saw Canon and said, "Who's this British guy?"
Yeah, I do agree
I
that initially
mean-
he just gives an emo kid vibe, probably a British one.
Yeah, he gives the the edge emo kid vibe. That's I'm secretly this powerful furniture. Original character, do not steal.
B rank.
But in the end, a lot of his motivations come from literally Yasu herself. Like all her self-hatred is
Mhm.
pushed onto Canon,
Mm.
and
Yeah.
like Canon is essentially like a coping mechanism,
Yeah,
which is
yeah.
like as a person himself, he doesn't offer much, but as a
but
link
I do,
to Yasu, it's more. I'd
I
say.
do have to say though, we have to rank Shannon above him because Shannon was
Oh,
way more of
definitely.
a character.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And Shannon was before Canon,
Yeah.
so obviously there was more room for growth.
Actually, yeah, for the hell of
Shannon
it, after
feels
we
more like a
rank-
personality, which goes with the message of Umineko.
Since we're
Yeah.
talking about canon, let's go ahead and rank both canon and Shannon. So,
So Shannon, I'm comfortable putting in the same rank as Evatris.
yeah, I'm actually okay
if
with
not
that.
higher, but like
B or
I
A
look
for
at
me.
the character. Well, I look at the characters at A, and I'm like, no, Shannon does not reach that. But I look at the characters at B, I'm like, yeah, all right, Shannon reaches
Yeah.
B.
A B is good.
I can settle for putting Shannon in the B rank.
Well, she really pushes the idea because even though Shannon too is connected to Yasu, unlike Beatrice and Canon, she doesn't push the idea that furniture shouldn't be allowed to love.
Whereas
She goes past it.
Canon's just like, we are furniture. We
Yeah.
must not do this.
Just how
Which,
many characters are connected to Yasu at this point?
Holy crap.
Many of them.
Beatrice. There's all right. Let's actually count real quick. There's Beatrice, Shannon, Canon. I think Furfur and Zephyr are both sides. Claire. That's like 1, 2, 3, 4,
Gap?
5, 6.
Alright.
Gap, maybe. Yeah, that's like 7.
Technically, yeah.
How many personalities do I have?
So we have
At least
Sumidera.
The walls are caving in and talking to me.
Okay, this bitch. It's
I
alright.
wish we got more of her. I wish we
Yeah.
we actually got a confrontation.
Mm.
All right,
I agree.
I want to give this person the perfectly good explanation. This is a Takano without chapters 1 through 6 of Higurashi.
Okay, I can.
disagree with you.
I don't know.
I
I-
just thought that she was just the evil Takano without the good side to tell us anything about her.
Here's the thing I agree on. Is that she is a villain in the story because there has to be a villain, but instead of being a counterpoint to Takano, aside from like maybe a visual similarity, I think that she is more meant to be the like setup piece for Erika, because we see Kasumi come in.
Angie. It's
No,
Angie.
Erika.
Erika.
Yes, because this is I'm getting there. I'm getting there. So we see Kasumi come in, and basically she is like just a villain character who is there to get in the way and murder Anji, who is at this point is an entirely innocent character in the story. And then later on down the line, we get to Erika's portrayal, which is all about how this person who just kind of disappeared is thrust into the story and portrayed as a villain because someone has to be the villain. So we use Kasumi as the setup piece for what Erika's role is later in the story.
So, are you saying that Erika's a meta interpretation?
No, I'm saying that Kasumi's portrayal is most like narratively effective in the story because of what we later get of Erika. Like, they're very different characters, but they fill the same role in the story because they are both just someone who had to be a villain because they're A, had to be, and B, because we don't get enough screen time to properly redeem them.
Yeah, but Erika's an A tier, and I do not want this person anywhere near that.
Oh, no, I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying that, like, she does have a role in the story besides just murdering Anji.
I think she's an example.
She has
on
motive.
what happens. I think she's an example of the after effects of the incident. Just like NJ got her life wrecked, she too got her life wrecked, and the two went about it two different ways. So
Yeah.
Were
Yeah,
Yukishi
so-
ever made like a Umineko Gao or something where he explored more of Angie's time? I feel like she would be an interesting character.
Yeah. But for now, if we're just counting the 8 arcs, I would say, yeah, probably E or D.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will give her that. I was fully expecting to throw her into shite, but I have to kind of,
we kind of learn everything about her at once. That's why
Yeah.
it's kind of hard to sympathize with her that much. But she is sympathizable. I
Yes,
think.
exactly. She leaves a nasty first impression, but upon like taking time to reflect on it, like, oh, okay, I can kind of understand a little bit.
Just as NJ sympathizes with her and eventually puts her out of her misery.
Right.
So for the next character, do we make a new list, a new tier, call it godlike, and put it above everything, and just put him there?
Fucking lootly.
What?
All right, let's be clear here.
Oh god.
How long have you been
How
preparing
Who
this
is
speech?
this?
Kawabata, in terms of what he actually does in the
I'm not
story,
gonna stop laughing. I'm sorry.
is relatively insignificant. There isn't much agency here. He
Where
basically
are you
shows up,
going?
is a nice old guy. Is a nice old guy, gets himself murdered. Okay, here's the linchpin. All right, and maybe this doesn't work in the original Japanese text, but at least Witch Hunt maybe chose to do this in the translation. And that is that the two pilot characters that we have in this story is the boat captain Kawabata, whose sprite we see here, but also at the very beginning of episode 1, before we even leave the airport, the captain of the aircraft that the Shiramiya family gets into says, "This is your Captain Kawabata." And if we infer that the opening parts of this story were written by Beatrice and that this is all a tale constructed by her, Kawabata's name and existence is the earliest clue to her role in the story, because she's someone who wouldn't have been far from off the island, went to school off the island shore, which would have been a boat journey away, which means that the only captain pilot-like character that would have existed in their life would be Kawabata, which is why that is also the name chosen for the plane pilot, and why the boat captain goes nameless in episode 1, because they'd already used that name. Thus, Kawabata is the earliest clue in the story as to the true identity of the culprit. My DMs are closed.
I mean, we have to reward. We have to
I
reward
take-
that But like, I mean, if we actually take a look at what he does in the story
He
himself,
fucking does nothing in the story. Put him in E. I have a great attachment to this man. But he does nothing. Put him in E.
no. I will disagree with that because he was actually involved in the assassination plot against Angie. I will at least put him in D.
Okay.
Potentially, we don't know that, but
He was involved in the same way that Jamie Foxx's character was involved in the assassination plot in Collateral.
Oh my god. All right, we're here with the big bad boy, Kinzo.
He doesn't exist. He's a corpse.
I
moving
even
tonight.
be at reach.
My DMs are closed.
personality,
I would
but let's
shout
see about
real
the
loud,
character.
This wake everyone up, so just make a bad reach tier.
I think it says a lot how much hatred one fictional character can cause for an entire fandom, and where
So-
everyone collectively agrees that they're a shit person.
So here's the thing, like, yeah, in the actual story he's dead the whole time, but of course the romanticized version, he is an awful person. We all know he's an awful person. He's fucking awful in every sense.
Oh god damn it, I fucked up.
But here's the thing, like, his character as a romanticized version and him talking with everyone, he's very important to the story. Like, we can't ignore that he's probably above D in terms of like his importance to the story.
Technically, he is the hook.
He is the plot hook. Yeah, he is the plot hook. He's in the game of
He
Clue.
created all of the conflict.
In
more or
the
less.
game of Clue, he's Mr. Body. So without him, there wouldn't be Umineko, even though he's an awful, awful character. So yeah,
Very good.
we're putting him in his own tier of
Yes.
like, because he's a corpse. He doesn't actually do anything. It's just what other people interpret him to do things. Through
Yep.
this
Maybe
fucking
I put
closed
him.
catbox theory bullshit.
If I were to put him in tiers, I would put him between A and B as his own tier,
Put it between A
just
and B.
because everything leads to him,
A and a half.
and
B and a
we
half.
see some growth, but like
B
he
and a
doesn't introduce. Unlike the characters in A, he doesn't introduce like new ideas and
And all he
course,
says
like-
throughout the whole game is beat Rice. I mean Beatrice.
Okay.
I mean, it's hard to place him again. He's an awful fucking person. But like,
Yeah.
yeah, he drives the plot even though he's a fucking corpse the whole time.
And technically, and I hate to say this, I'm almost puking in my mouth, he can also be sympathized with how he was raised, how he was toyed with by some random elders.
I want to say less sympathize with and more understand, like in the
Yeah,
same way
okay.
a cop
Yeah.
Word.
understands the perpetrator.
Well, I would say
can-
that is what sympathy is. I would say empathy is the word you're
Empathy
thinking
is
for.
Oh,
the right word.
yeah.
Yeah.
Never
can-
empathize.
We can. Yeah, we understand him. We don't sympathize with him.
We sympathize, we don't empathize is the point I'm making.
Yeah.
Yeah, that works.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Badass Kyrie.
Angie's mom, Butler's stepmom.
Biological mom.
She-
Oh,
Well,
Battler's
okay,
mother.
okay,
Dun,
okay,
dun,
I-
dun.
He's Battler's mother.
Yes, that's the joke.
S tier.
I have a reason why she is very high ranked. She teaches Butler the chessboard theory of thinking.
That's true.
Yes.
And that saves his ass the whole game. Now, her as a character,
Well, I don't know. It kind of stops being useful immediately when Nox the Colloque is introduced.
yes,
At
but
least.
it carries him throughout the question arcs. I will
suppose.
say, it was her that tried to kill Jessica, right? She tried to kill Jessica in that scene where Jessica just went overload and beat the shit out of her or something. I don't remember.
It goes both ways, yeah. In episode 6, she's killed by Jessica, and in Prime, in reality, she kills.
Whoa,
Jessica.
hold on. No, let's not go bringing out that word around here.
Oh no.
I would say A.
A tier?
A?
Okay, here's
No.
my counter argument. Here's
Hey,
my
it's
counter
fine.
argument.
Uh-oh.
It's that if we were to go back and edit the story and remove passages that are unnecessary and arguably intrusive to the story, chessboard thinking would be the vast majority of that, and thus, I would argue that Kyrie has the most negative effect on the story as a whole.
Yes, but an effect still. And yeah, chessboard theory.
Whoa, hold on. You were the one at the start who said that we should rank characters lower based on if they make the story worse. I say she made the story worse, and you say
No. I say that it's a character could be awful because if we say make the character worst, or sorry, if the character's actions negatively impact the story, like what are you saying? Like in terms of it actually makes the book worse to read?
Yep. I think chessboard thinking is the worst thing to happen to Umineko's text
I think we also learned some stuff about Kiri through Kasumi from episode 4, and I feel like that also kind of hints at her true character that becomes revealed in episode 7.
Listen, I'll settle for B. I'll settle for B. I think lower, but I'll settle for B.
I'll settle for B, mainly because I don't have an argument against you. Like, yeah, you kind of just checkmated me there.
He's not really in Chiru at all, more or less. Like, she's in there a little bit here and there, but...
She was...
Episode 7
Wait a minute, not in Chiru! Not in Chiru! She and Rudolph fucking massacred everyone in Chiru!
Yeah, he's got the second highest body count in Chiru.
Like, what?
She's in one of the tea parties, that's true.
Yep.
One of the tea parties? That
She's
was the longest
part-
tea party
She was part of Birkenstell's game as well!
She also introduces the idea of unhealthy love, I think.
That's
She
right.
has
No, I think we're done with this.
What
I think
Chiru did you read?
With Rudolph, and that's kind of showcased as one of the aspects
So
of
this
love.
guy...
like fucking 7 hours!
Yeah.
Oh, God.
So this guy, here's the thing. I know some people are gonna disagree with me.
Oh no.
He is part of the scene where we find the key to the epitaph.
that's
where
true,
we-
but does he actually have
Only a
much
very
to do
minor
with that?
clue. Yeah, it's a painting in his house.
Yeah,
not even owned by him.
plot device. So either Shite or E.
I don't even remember him.
I kind of want to put
He's really just the person who had the picture that said a quadrillion to 1, and that was
Just
our
like-
key.
Just like Kasumi and all the other adults in episode 4, they all are just plot devices to show the after effects of the crime, of the incident, like how it affected people and the relatives and those close to whoever died in the explosion accident.
I want.
That's the only purpose.
I want to say his mom also is ranked lower, but like her meta version is Virgilia, so like I don't know.
No, Kumasawa is important.
Yeah,
Definitely important.
He is
Because
but yeah, okay,
Kumasawa
you got me
knows
there.
Yasu a lot. Come on.
Yeah.
She literally teaches her about magic, and that's showcased throughout, like through Virgilia even further. Where
But here's the
She's
thing,
literally a
Virgilia
mental
is
witch.
separate. Like, do
they
we
are
count
separate,
her?
but their actions are almost the same in terms of human Kumasawa teaches human Yasu magic, which Virgilia teaches which Beatrice magic. I think that's essentially the same.
Okay, so maybe we can put Kumasawa and Virgilia in the same tier then.
No, I wouldn't say that because Virgilia also helps Battler, and that's not
true.
what Kumasawa does.
Yeah,
Kumasawa only messes with Yasu, and that's the extent of it.
I mean, part of the reason that we put. Go ahead.
Sorry, Kumasawa messing with Yasu. That's sort of in the background. Hey, this happened. That's kind of important. It's a major far cry from Virgilia actively helping out our main protagonist, Butler, and battling Beatrice in one of the best witch fights in the Question arcs.
I'm gonna say we did put Genji in C tier because of the decisions and the enabling that lent to Kinzo's poor choices. And more or less, that's Kumasawa's role in the story as well. So I think C tier is the appropriate place.
I can agree with that.
The human world is just as important as the meta world at times, I think, because actions in the human world is what leads to
Alright.
the meta world.
Maria,
Happy birthday!
Oh,
Happy
God.
triple S tier.
Wait, what?
At triple S?
Triple S tier.
Triple S tier? I can agree with that.
Really?
Wait,
I
what?
agree with A.
Reasoning?
I agree with
I
A.
think
not
A.
triple S.
The entire meta narrative to the story in terms of what all of the characters do and the relationship to this magical space is all informed by coping decisions that Maria used. Thus, the majority of the story does not exist without her influence on the characters around her. S tier.
Okay, I will only agree to that if Rose is an A.
Maria
Well, technically,
is also the first
okay
pick
with
of the
that.
story on the boat.
Okay.
Maria's story is shown really greatly, and she does enable Yasu again as well. But I think that's kind of the extent of it, because she doesn't really exist in the meta world, and
But she's also the driving force of pissing off Butler in the question arcs. At least the not meta Butler, but like in the world Butler, she's constantly
she does
laughing
have
at
a
everyone
pivotal
being
role at
dead.
confusing the reader and
Yeah.
Battler in the mysteries themselves, you know.
Exactly. So I think her
She's
impact
the
on the
atmosphere.
individual, like in chapter non-meta world is pretty high. Of course, she's a witch too, so that means that her impact in the witch world is high. So
Mhm.
I'm comfortable with putting her in S tier, but yeah, that means that Rosa, whose name was put out in all caps, also should be in A tier when we get to her.
I'm okay with this.
with
So this guy,
Especially considering that Ava is also already an A tier.
was part of the people I think that were bribed and had the
E-tier.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Just put him between the other two characters in that sequence of the story, and we're done. Easy.
I mean,
okay, I think he
the
teaches
safety
NJ the most.
deposit, the safety deposit box was genuinely creepy, but like other than that, like he didn't really serve any purpose at that point.
All right,
No,
pop quiz.
I-
What is the character's name?
Oh no.
Yeah, see, that's why he's an E tier.
It's not Muramasa.
Shit.
If
Oh,
that's
fuck.
I
shite,
can't
wait,
remember.
Why
Yeah.
he's not shite then if we don't?
All right, hold on. No,
remember
let's go.
his
around.
name?
Fox, what do you think the name is? Take a guess.
I hate you. I don't know. All
All right, Sabata, what about you?
Jerry.
All right, Acta.
Robin.
Let me
Alright,
just pull
and-
up the Umineko wiki real quick.
Gardison.
No, it should be something Japanese, I guess, but I don't know. I just don't remember
Alright.
this guy.
What about you, Rat? Last one.
Masayoshi?
Oh, you're so close. It's Masayuki.
Oh, damn it! Not a true Umineko fan.
Oh, god damn it. I'm ashamed.
What are we even doing in this whole discussion if we don't know this guy's name?
I don't deserve to.
We don't
Double
the
pop
guy.
quiz. Does anyone remember Nanjo's full name?
Not
Nanjo.
Muramasa.
Damn it, beat me to it.
Or someone
Is it-
had it.
is
Someone
this-
had it.
Is this your long way of saying Nanjo deserves like bottom tier?
Maybe. No.
No, God, no.
I'd say C tier for Nanjo for the same reason as
Yeah,
Kumasawa
enabler.
and Genji.
but
Yeah, you kinda
this-
get grouped
this
into
guy
the
we
human
just
characters.
put into E tier. I want to say he's shite. We don't know who he is. We don't care who he is. He's not an antagonist. He's just I have this information about a safety
I'm
deposit
okay. I'm
box.
okay with putting him in shite.
Man, what
I
a
don't.
poor guy. I kind of feel sorry for him now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would collectively agree all the episode 4 one-offs to be put into shite, though this Nanjo is kind of interesting in a way. He does offer the most information to NJ, and like the most unique stance, and how he dealt with all the after effects of the incident again. I keep saying that a lot,
All right.
but
Natsuhi.
Natsui, I think chapter 5 solidified her in A tier.
I think A
I
or
was
B.
going to suggest that I want to put her in A tier.
Not S, but
Interesting.
definitely A.
Interesting.
Excuse me?
I would argue B tier only slightly, because a lot of Natsuhi's story, whilst impactful, is also revolves around her not actually dealing with her problems.
Hmm.
Like, what we see in episode 5 is just her coping mechanism. Her coping mechanism doesn't have much of an impact on the people around her. Her
Right.
being
Yeah.
a pushover is the main impact that she has on the people around her.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
okay,
gotta
okay.
say, yeah, okay. Chapter 5 is basically Natsui's internal dialogue, the
Yeah.
chapter.
Even
so,
though
like,
she admit that she wouldn't make a good accomplice.
It's kind of why the movie version of Harry Potter isn't as good as the book, because the book gives you his internal monologue. Of course, we're gonna say that Natsui is really good when we have Chapter 5, but yeah, you're right.
She is a
doesn't
very
do
enjoyable
anything.
character, but she doesn't
Natsui-
actually do a lot.
She also has a sick hairdo.
Oh
Say
yeah.
that.
Oh my god, her hair that defies gravity. It's so great.
Oh, it's fantastic. All right, our boy Okanogi.
All right. Here's what I have to say about Okanogi.
Whoop.
Right?
Oh,
He's
pull the
the
trigger.
one-
Let's hear it.
He's the one who introduced "Without love, it cannot be seen."
Let's
First
go.
uttered
Triple
through
S is
It's
here.
true.
Without
Good
love, it
argument.
cannot be seen.
Are
Triple
we-
S tier. He is the most important character in the entire When They Cry franchise. Fight me in the fucking comments.
I genuinely think that will be true. Without
So
saying
are
anything more.
we including Higurashi now?
Well,
Oh no.
No.
Listen, I think on its own, he is worth S tier in Umineko, but I'm just saying he is the most important character in the franchise as a
But he's
tangential
very
statement.
I-
He has
I'm
a very
saying you're
interesting
wrong.
thematic point.
I'm
in
not
story.
saying you're wrong. I'm just saying that. No, actually, I agree. I have no
Good.
point. Yeah, he's a really good character, and like I want to say he's like the outside witch. He's-
Absolutely.
He's the main antagonist. He's the Birkenstell on the outside.
He
now
is
that
the
I think about it.
Birkenstocks on the outside. I love it.
Yeah,
That's actually pretty
he
good.
pretends to be your pretends to be your ally and then puts a hit out on you.
I don't know about
I'm just
that.
saying, of all of the characters that I have gone to town to defend in my own contributions to the community, Okanogi is the one who people most regularly message me and say, hey, you changed my mind. I agree, he's the greatest character in the franchise. I could
He
sit
is.
here and
He's
defend him
fucking
for hours.
good.
He's really
Yes.
good in both Higurashi and Umineko. I don't know if he appears in Sakonia, but he's really good.
I'm going to play devil's advocate. I don't think Okanogi is that great on one basis, and it's because a lot of the things that he teaches Anjay is not really things that he actually believes himself, because he teaches a lot about like sympathy and, you know, trying to look at things from multiple perspectives and find the most peaceful solution, you know, not trying to, because NJ is going like off the rails in episode 4 and
Yep.
really has the problem with hating Ava, and he's like, okay, but how about you look at things differently? But then in
How about
episode
you take
6
care of
we
your company?
Find out he's incredibly inconsistent and actually, you know,
Yeah,
basically set an
willing
assassination
to
plan for her.
sacrifice-
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know what? Here's the thing. Okanogi is there for us as an audience, not there for the other characters in the story. He exists to serve us, the reader. Basically, his position there is to, if you haven't gotten the themes by the time we get to episode 4, say, hey, wake up. All right? His inconsistency there is there to make you think more about the actions that he's taking in contrast to the things that he says, which makes you think more about the themes of the story, thus making the story better, thus fitting our criteria for a better character, Triple S tier.
Here's the thing. I want to say that he is probably the most human character because he's so inconsistent.
Mhm.
Like he preaches one thing and practices another. He tries to comfort this person and then puts a hit out on her. He's really like the human version of Birkenstell, being like, "Yeah, I'm your ally, and then I'm gonna
Yeah.
cross you when it sees fit to me." I
It's
like
funny-
him for that
essentially he
character.
makes the player think. How is that different from Ikuko?
Here's the problem though
I
about
have a
S
confession
tier.
about Okanogi.
Here's
when you
the
guys are
problem.
done with this.
Okay. My only thing is, are we comfortable saying that he has as much as an impact in the story as those 4 characters next to him?
That's what I was
I
going
don't
to
think
say.
so.
I can't
Okay.
just look at the Erica and the A tier and Okanogi and the S tier. Sorry. That's impossible.
I think Okanogi is great, and a lot of
He's
the
a
things
great
that you said.
character, yeah.
Yeah, and he does make the player think in a lot of ways. But at the end of the day, again, he has a lot of that importance factor that just stems from Higurashi, like that makes him
Disagree.
seem more important than he
Disagree.
actually is. At least in
And
my
And
opinion.
it's
other
not the
things.
same character from Higurashi. Like Okanogi, Higurashi, and Okanogi Umineko are 2 very different characters. Even if they're the same
I mean-
person, even if they're the same person,
Confirmed.
even if they're the same person, the way that they act,
I mean,
it's not exact.
I
think
think
he
act
serves.
is the
I
key
think
word
he serves
there.
the human purpose that Ikuko has. Well, Featherine has more specifically
He's-
for NJ. I think they're
Alright,
very similar.
Who was it that said that you thought that Okonogi and Ikuko served this? Oh, sorry, Okonogi and Featherin served the same purpose in the story.
I never said that.
Someone said that while we were okay.
Somebody
here's the
once
case.
told me.
Here's the case. All right.
Oh god.
Okonogi is better as a functional character in this story than Featherin because all of the stuff that Featherin does to serve admittedly the same purpose as Okonogi in the story, to wake the reader up to the themes, is done in a way that is actually served through the story itself. Okonogi introduces the themes, says a couple of weird things, and then does the exact opposite so that you think about the themes, whereas Featherin just kind of condescends the entire time.
I might. have
Thus,
said
I
that,
think
now I
that we
about
should at least have Okonogi in a tier above Featherin. Whether that means bumping Featherin down a tier or not, I don't know what to tell you. But I think that we
How
can
about
at
we
least.
put him in incompetent because he's pretty incompetent in a way
I'm okay
we don't
with,
really
I
know
would be
things
okay
about.
with putting Okonogi in incompetent.
it.
Because we don't
Incompetent
really
S-
get
Yeah,
to
I'm
know
okay with that,
about him
too.
at all.
incompetent S tier. Like I want to agree with you, but at the same time, I'm like, no. Feathering has a
yeah.
way bigger impact on the story than Okonogi.
But she has a bigger impact on the story in a way that I don't think improves the story in its delivery. Is my case there? She has the same impact on the story functionally as Okonogi, but the delivery of Okonogi's purpose
I
is
want to
better.
say that he ranks above her, but he's in the same tier. Like
That's
higher
fine with me.
placement in the
Incompetent is where he belongs.
Well,
Okay.
then she has to be an incompetent. Like I'm saying
No.
that she isn't. That they're in the same tier, but he's higher in the same tier.
I mean, incompetent is purgatory between S and A, and thus
Oh,
is
all right.
neither
I
above
will
or
agree
below
to
it.
that. I'll agree to that. It's just I personally think that she has a bigger impact. Though yes, he actually also has as much of an impact, and it's probably not until multiple rereads that you get that.
Let's just say that Okonogi is a character that makes you think for surprisingly a lot, considering how little of a character he is. So there's
Yeah,
beauty in
yeah.
simplicity.
It again.
the scenes matter.
Again, comparing to Higurashi, if you compare Okonogi to Takano, it's almost like comparing Okonogi to Feathering. Like, yeah, there's the character that draws your attention that has a big impact, but he also has a really big impact, even though you would assume
Listen,
he
if we're
wouldn't.
gonna bring a Higurashi into this, I have another 2 hours worth of argument to make. So
Oh,
can we,
God.
can we just move
Do
on?
that. We have
Move
to
on.
move on. There's no
Alright.
time.
Who the hell
Really
is this
quickly,
guy?
my confession.
All right, pop
Since-
quiz. What's the character's
since-
name, everybody? He's going in shite tier, but
Witch
what's his
Hunter.
name?
It starts
This
with a
again.
K. I remember.
It does not
starts-
start with a K. It does not start with a K.
No.
It's
Was it
it's
Oats?
Oishi.
Or something
It's
like-
Oishi.
Oh, yeah, you're close.
Solve
It's
the
Utsuki.
puzzle.
Ishi or something.
Utsuki.
Utsuki?
Double-O-T-S-U-K-I.
Is his name Neko
Oh.
Matsuri Bayashi? Something like that.
Neko Matsubirayashi. Yes.
Utsuki.
Higurashi no Nakoku
All right, really,
Keki
really quick,
Kokoku
my
Kokoku no
confession-
Chiko Bokono.
My confession, my Okanogi confession. Since 2010, I have run an Okanogi Facebook fan page,
Oh no.
and I post on it
Yes.
yearly.
Please
Yes,
send me an
and-
invite.
And
Yes.
since 2012, I've been posting that Okanogi will be the main character of the When They Cry franchise, and I'm sticking to that.
Oh my god.
Truly,
Okay.
you
So-
are the
Greatest
greatest,
So wait a
greatest
minute.
predictor of the franchise.
Is Okanogi and Feathering like two sides of the coin that is Ryukishio 7?
Abso-fucking-lutely.
I think so. That's
Oh,
actually a pretty
he
good
is the
interpretation.
heads to her tails. Holy shit.
You have finally clued in to the truth of the When They Cry franchise.
I mean,
welcome to
Ikuko
Elysium, my
and-
friend. Welcome to the peak
Holy shit.
of the mountain.
I mean, technically, it's Ikuko and Toya too, but also Okonogi who bring closure to NJ in episode 8 and
Mhm,
help her start her
mhm.
life anew.
Sing me the song of my people, friends.
Oh god.
Okay, so here's an important thing, since we're about to rank these characters. in order from left to right, can you say their actual name instead of just their sin?
Lucifer,
Yes,
Leviathan,
absolutely.
Satan, Belphegor, Mammon,
My favorite character.
uh,
Uh, uh,
crap, is it Beelzebub?
That's
Or-
Beelzebub.
Oh.
This is- yeah.
And, damn it, what's the last one?
Asmodeus. I played too
Hold
much
on, everyone.
D&D. Okay.
I give up, I can't
it-
remember that one.
Asmodeus, I just said it 3 times.
Oh, Asmodeus, goddammit, I'm an idiot. I got 6 of them!
That's pretty
Okay,
good.
so
I'm back.
let's...
Yay.
We're gonna have to talk about them, like, somewhat individually, but a lot of them can be blended together. Some of them are gonna actually be in shite, if I'm gonna be
I
honest.
think everyone except Mammon should be in the same tier, and Mammon should be one above that.
Yes.
No. Sloth does fuck all the entire game.
How
Yeah.
dare
No,
you!
no,
I
no.
will not
mean-
take Belphegor's slander!
I mean, that's like Sloth, right?
Yes.
Exactly, I get it, but, like...
Leviathan has a lot to
She
kill.
doesn't have any funny lines. She doesn't do much. Okay, so let's start with Lucifer.
Okay.
Lucifer's the leader of the sins of purgatory. She's not as important as Beatrice or any of the witches, so she doesn't belong in A or S tier.
But she's iconic.
She is iconic, so the
She has a
question is
battle with
whether
cannon.
the question is she in B or C? Because that's where I'd say we need to start our basis on.
Okay.
Because that will have ripple effects for the other characters.
I say C on the basis that she is a magic character and she has only one function, and it's to continue the magic narrative. And she does that.
I will.
With cannon.
Yes,
Yes.
I agree.
I will
So
agree
then-
with the C tier.
So then I also want to put Wrath on there because I feel like she and Wrath have a rivalry going on. That's
Yeah.
the sense that I got. So I think they have to be on the same tier.
The white-haired one.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, the
right.
white-haired
That's
one.
it. Yeah, Lucifer and Satan.
So the one that helps Angie
That's
is
Mammon.
one tier above. The black-haired one, I know that's Sloth. She does fuck all. I honestly want to put her in E.
Don't you? I will not take that slander. I will stick with D.
D?
D, I'd say.
Okay. So then the green-haired one, I don't remember.
Envy, right?
Leviathan. That's
Yeah.
I
She has a
wanna
lot of stuff with Kiri. She supports
she-
her in Jessica's battle, and like
she is
has a
just
duel.
she's just as old as Lucifer and Wrath, so I want to say that there's maybe a triple rivalry, although it really is Wrath and Lucifer, or Wrath and Pride that have that.
yeah.
All right. Now Gluttony is in triple S. I'm sorry, but it's the truth.
No,
Hurt your feelings.
no,
You
no.
know it to be
You're
true.
not allowed to
After the
do
short
that. If-
stories, she doesn't really have much of a presence. I'm sorry.
Screw you. She's
But-
going into the
But
D
she's
tier.
one of the. She's the funniest of them all.
FMA Gluttony is also triple S, so I agree.
She's the funniest of them all. Okay, and then Asmodeus, which is Lust, it has to be the same
it's
tier
the
as
best
Gluttony.
Those two are kind of inseparable, and I'd say they deserve to be together in D.
There.
Okay, so 3 in D, 3 in C, and 1 in B. I think that looks fine.
That works for me.
Anyone opposed to the? Because like you have to kind of talk to them together because they work together.
Yeah,
And,
but some of them
like-
connect to other characters, and
Some of
Mammon
them,
really
well,
grows a
well,
relationship
here's
with
the
NJ.
thing. The 3 in the middle tier don't connect to anyone but themselves, but they connect to themselves in such a good way that it really
Well,
drives.
they
the
connect through
narrative.
battle in the characters that they fight. in the story.
Okay, a battle, but like,
I mean, Kiri's whole motive of like jealousy and everything, her hate for Asumu, only comes forward as a plot thing
okay.
in the battle with Leviathan. That's
but
why I think.
they don't connect. They're really just there as antagonists for someone's, major sin.
Yeah, that's why they're
Um,
plot devices.
But like
basically.
they work
Romantic
together
scenes.
really well. Whereas the 3 below, Sloth doesn't do anything.
Shush.
Gluttony is going against the cook because haha funny moment and dialogue I might add. And Asmodeus there's not really anyone lustful. So she's just kind of there. But then that one works with Angie and really helps out. So
There's no anyone lustful. Can we look at the Beatrice tier?
I mean, we just put that
Depends
for
on
the
the horny
funny.
there, but I mean,
We just
well,
put that
even the
there for
demon of
funny
lust doesn't
memes.
match up for those horny people.
Oh my god.
Actually, Kinzo is the horniest of them all.
God damn it.
That's why it's in
But
higher
there's only-
tiers.
But there's only so much horny you can give a corpse.
True.
Alright, so let's
Ugh.
move on to the 7th goddamn personality of Yasu here today.
Leon.
But one of the better ones.
So Leon is the Watson of Will.
Yeah.
Like they even make that joke in game.
Mm-hmm.
She's there to kind of be like, because like Will is just going on his full-on detective mode. This is all that's happening. I understand this, and the reader might not be able to catch up with that. So that's why he has to explain it to his Watson Leon, so that the reader can catch up with that.
Yep.
So
And I think she does her job perfectly as that narrative
So
device.
the question is, if this was Sherlock Holmes and Sherlock Holmes is an A tier, where would we put his Watson? Is it in B tier?
Watson has to go above Sherlock
I
Holmes. Like,
think-
what kind of question is this?
Okay, so does Leon actually go above Will?
No, I think
No.
what
No.
makes episode 7 is their dynamic together. I feel like they really complete each other in that matter.
Yes, that's
Yeah.
true. But I like that we have to take a look at the characters themselves too.
Listen, if
I-
we are describing Leon alone as the Watson of the duo, the Watson always has to go higher than the Sherlock. That's just how reality works. This isn't up for debate.
But in the
why?
context of
It's
Umineko,
debatable.
I think that he is an A and she is in B. So, or he. It's unknown.
Will it be?
So I want to say
hot
B.
take.
Okay, well,
I
are
would say they
you?
both A, actually.
You think they
I'll-
deserve? Do you think they both deserve to be in the same tier together at A?
A
If
is
Erica
hard.
and Dolonor are both in A, I'd say Will.
Well, imagine
Okay,
Will without
okay,
Leon
okay.
and Leon without Will.
Okay, let me pitch you this. What about we put Leon in B
No.
and Will?
Well, I'm already gonna
Beatrice.
stop you right there.
Oh no.
Leon has to be in the same tier as
Why would
Delonor.
Will be in the tier with the corpse, with the lustful corpse?
Why is the tier with the corpse between
mean,
A and B?
actually-
You're
I mean,
asking the
actually-
same question.
I mean, I just
Everything leads
and
back to him.
Beatrice to Beatrice, but why?
I mean, technically, everything leads back to Leon as well.
Oh my
so-
sweet beet rice!
So this could actually be
Beat
plausible
rice.
to put him in the same tier as
I-
Kinsto.
I'm just saying I'm okay with them being in the same tier together, but they have to be in A tier with Erica and Delonor.
Yeah,
I
I
will side
think
with that.
the fact that Leon is before Will in this current tier is already showcasing that.
Yeah.
No,
let's
keep it like that.
No.
Leon, so that
Discussing the order. Guys, we'll be
Listen.
here for this.
Listen.
for the sake of the Watson being
Listen.
better.
Listen. All right, the fucking title card for chapter 7 shows this fucking Simon Belmont looking motherfucker, and you're gonna put him behind her?
Abso-fucking-lutely.
God damn it! He looks okay in design. He looks cool, but design does not make a character, so fine. All right, the
These
demon
two are
Not to
good,
mention-
good for them.
listen,
Good for
Before,
them.
let's just take a moment aside to ask: have any of you read the Philo Vance series of murder mysteries?
No.
No.
Okay. SS Van Dyne really is just an obnoxious writer.
I mean, it really does look
yeah.
like it really does look like, and the way that Will actually introduces his different types of his things, that he's just making up those rules as they go along, and that SS Van Dyne actually just made that shit up as he went along.
Oh, SS Van Dyne's rules are quite succinct and defined, but they are unlike Knox's rules, which are more about how to how to make a fair mystery. Van Dyne's rules are just kind of like, I don't like this about murder mystery, and if you use it, I'm gonna say your book's bad.
They are way too strict.
And I think that that's conveyed in Umineko because Umineko follows Nox rules, doesn't follow Van Dyne, yet he's still trying to apply Van Dyne rules to this.
It does follow Van Dyne's rules. It just takes a very loose definition of a couple of them, which is also true for Nox's.
It's a play on words.
I guess.
Servants being culprits and whatnot.
So anyways, the Demon Butler.
Yeah.
This is what I wish Kinzo was. I think that's what I'm getting from this guy. Kinzo is like the human blank slate. This is the fun butler. This is the Kinzo that we wish, or sorry, did I say Kinzo? The Genji.
Yeah.
This is the Genji we wish was Genji, but instead it's this guy, and he's fun.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sorry, the different endings in Golden Fantasia. Whew.
Oh my lord, those were a trip.
Golden Fantasia.
He again has two purposes, in my opinion. He has the purposes on the game board where he fulfills the magic stuff, but he also helps Battler in episode 5 reach the truth.
Put him in SS tier.
I wouldn't maybe put him in S.
I want to
I'd
say A. I want to say A. Because you're trying to compare him to Beatrice.
Fair.
Fair. Yeah.
I think
He brings a new side to
satisfied
magic
with
in
putting him
episode 3.
A rank.
That's why.
From Galactic Heroes, very cool. I put him in B tier.
Now when everyone's picking Rosa, remember the deal we had about Maria. Like Rosa has to be an A if Maria's an S tier.
Huh.
Because like we argued that everything that Maria did as a coping mechanism caused the events for Yasu, and she wouldn't need those coping mechanisms if her mother wasn't very abusive.
We already said that we were going to put Rosa in A tier in response to putting Maria in S.
Yeah.
So let's just stick
reminding
with our
people.
word.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
All right. Butler's
Brutal.
shit of a dad.
Oh god.
Well, technically his actions cause Battler's departure from the family, which in turn causes Yasu's despair. So,
Then he was
do we
responsible for
put
the
him in
baby
A?
swapping.
Is he above Kiri? I think so. I think that he is much better character than Kiri. But do we put him in the same league as Erika and Delanor? That's the question.
in terms of, I don't know. I don't think we know too much about him compared to Kiri. We know really what drives Kiri in the end, but we
alright.
don't really know what Rudolph was the player.
Let's compare him to his siblings. All right, 2 of his siblings are in A, 1's in C. Does he join his brother in C? Does he join his sisters in A? Or is he somewhere in between?
I actually think he has less character than Kraus.
What? He's a killer in one of them. The tips outright have him as one of the
Only
killers.
because of Kiri, really.
Being the killer.
I would say he.
I don't know, 20 tons of goddamn gold!
Goes to C.
But he said that it wasn't worth shit.
But he's the okay, there's not really a catalyst for... Okay, Kraus is not a catalyst for anything. God damn it, I keep on saying Kinzo. Rudolph is absolutely a catalyst for how both Angie and Bottler behave. At the very least, Bottler, we know that for a fact.
I think that Carrie and Rudolph have the same positive impact on the story and should be in the same tier.
So I'm okay with him
Let's go
being...
for that.
I'm okay with him being in between his sisters and his brother. Please don't take that out of
He's
context.
just one dimension. Like he doesn't really. I don't know.
The thing is, we see
Especially
clear
in this
effects.
series with Kinzo.
Let's look at the siblings for the moment. We see Kinzo's effects on almost all of the siblings. We see Rosa being the youngest, always like not cared about at all, and we also know Rosa's motivations come from her divorce. Then we have Ava. Ava suffers from Kinzo's sexism and all this stuff about her being a woman, hence not being fit for anything except marrying off a rich guy. And then there's Rudolph. He's a player, but do we really know like what drove him into being a player? We don't really ever get shown like, was it because Kinzo also treated him badly or was like, you need to be a respectable husband, so he decided to do the very opposite. We don't really know what drives him. And that's my problem with Rudolph.
I suppose that's true, but also, like, if we're gonna start complaining about side characters having fewer details than the main characters of the story, we're really gonna
No,
have
but
to.
Kiri has even more, like, Kiri comes from a Yakuza family, we know that much. We know that
Which
her family is
is
abusive.
kind of surface level in and of itself. We don't
Well, it is
really.
surface level, but it's still information.
I
I'd
mean,
say.
like,
But that's
we-
the same as like the rest of the Ishiramiya family. A lot of them we don't get to find out a lot about. We just kind of, infer their relationships because of, the broader family as a whole. Like, we don't actually get to know a lot about Kraus, and yet we
I'd
put him
rather-
in C tier.
I'd rather get to know something about someone offhandedly compared to not getting to know anything about them at all. I'd
I mean,
say.
it is true that the main characters are obviously going to top the tier list. Why would they not? But then you have outliers like Okonomi. He is technically a side character, even though he's the best character in the series. And the demon butler, I think his name is Kinzo.
Ronove.
He's, huh?
The demon butler's name is Ronove.
Where the fuck did I get the name Kinzo from?
You
Probably from Kinzo.
Probably from Beatrice tier.
Look, I just had a brain fart for a second. Anyways, like,
We've been going
yeah,
at it for quite a while, so.
we've been going at it for quite a while. We have to not only look at the characters' actions, but also inactions. We have to look at how they affect other characters. Like, if we can't justifiably say that because Rudolph doesn't do too much that he deserves D tier, and then, at the same time saying, well, Rosa herself, all she really did was abuse Maria, so she deserves a lower tier. But then you look at what Maria does out of a result of that, and she's an S tier. And we see what Butler does as a result of what his dad did, and he's incompetent S. He's like the purgatory between S and A. So we can't really discount what those characters did as being the catalyst for much better characters. Those quote-unquote stepping stools.
And that's what I'm saying, that there's always causality between the children and the parents. Like,
And there always is.
but the exception is like Rudolph. We don't know where his character becomes. Like,
I
Rosa...
would argue. Here's the case I'm going to argue. I don't feel particularly strongly about this, but I think that we're meant to infer Rudolph's characterization through Battler, because what we see Battler do is basically, him potentially going down the same road that Rudolph did, and his journey is about not making the same mistakes that his father did in a lot of ways. So even though we don't get a lot of direct characterization for him,
And correct
like,
me if
That
I'm
is an
wrong.
interesting comparison.
Correct me if I'm wrong. I think Rudolph actually does apologize at some point, at least in the narrative of the story.
yeah, right?
Yeah,
like,
he does get his time to shine, especially in the
Yeah.
manga version of episode
Yeah.
8.
Kinzo, God damn it, Kraus, like I said earlier, he plays telephone with Jessica in chapter 4, and he wraps Natsui into his bullshit in chapter 5, and like that's all I remember. I don't remember too much, and that's why we agreed that he was in C. I preferred him to be lower, but he did drive the plot forward for characters like Jessica and Natsui, who are ranked much higher than him. So that's why my argument that Rudolph should be in B tier, because he's a much better character than Kraus. But at the end of the day, he's really something that pushes Butler forward and indirectly pushes Angie. Maybe, I'm not sure.
I'm happy with B tier.
I'm happy with
yeah,
B
yeah.
tier.
Yeah.
Mostly. Okay, so these characters, these fucking rabbits.
Okay, now
The
here's
Chiesta
my argument.
Sisters.
Of the Chiesa sisters, I think I'm trying to remember. I think the blue-haired one, that's 410.
That is
That's
correct.
green, but go ahead.
Oh, sorry.
Cyan.
God damn it. Okay, sorry. I think
So-
that Nihi and the Gaspy girl should be going above the gold hair and the purple hair, at least in rank.
Well,
That's true.
I personally got scarred from Golden Fantasia, so I wouldn't mind the blue hair just be deleted from the game's files.
Listen, 556, can we agree, just goes in shite tier.
556, which one's that?
That's the purple hair.
The purple one.
Right.
Yeah, because she's.
Her,
I mean,
she
it's
appears
unfair.
only in
It's
the
unfair.
tits.
It's
haven't read her
unfair,
short
but
story.
yes, it's unfair because she got murdered before she even got the chance to speak.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean that does mean that. Oh boy, the characters that got murdered before the main characters got to see them don't have much of a character. Who would have thought?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I'm sorry to all of the other characters in shite here who also, you know, had lives outside the story we didn't get to see, but that's just the way.
Okay, hold on. I think, honestly, we need to make a new tier for her and just call it dead. Because the other characters got to speak.
No.
The other characters got to speak! She never got to speak!
She got a side story. I'll back that.
In the 8 chapters.
Okay.
What do you want from me?
I want the world, okay?
I'm sorry, just
What do you
Let's-
want from me?
Now let's just get through the rest of the Chiesta sisters, and if we
Okay,
really
yeah.
feel that strongly, we can make another tier after.
I'm just
All right.
saying, like, yeah, she deserves to be in bottom tier, but like, she had no character. The other characters in the bottom tier had dialogue.
Yeah,
But
It's a matter of
she's
dialogue.
also a
We did-
metaphor for the actions of Rosa and Maria, so we can really say that she had a story. If we're gonna
God
gonna
damn it!
divide
Oh,
things up this
boy.
cleanly.
Fucking
think-
words around.
Let's go to another
I think they have a
metaphysical
lot of
layer.
mixed potential. I
All
think
right.
it's because
Double-
they I
Calorie
never really
warp
got a
drive.
connection to Maria.
I want to say the yellow rabbit is below the pink and green rabbit because the pink and green rabbit
Yeah,
have
just
more
put
screen time.
it with Cornelia and Gertrude. They kind of have the same role in the story.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
That being
those two
said,
in
I'm
B.
still scarred from Golden Fantasia, so I just want to actually delete the green-haired one.
I feel your pain, man. I feel your pain.
They-
Actually, it's
Oh.
teal.
Okay, fine, it's
oh.
Teal. I don't care. She spams the goddamn fucking arrows at you.
You want to
Like,
go
who
that direction?
programmed
Okay.
I just lost this kind of worms. Those
Who
two,
programmed that?
45 and 410, fulfill their purpose as magic characters to
Yes,
help with the
yes,
magical
yes.
murders, and they're the most that we get out of the personality from all of
So-
the rabbits.
It comes down to these two.
That it does.
Sakutaro.
Sakatero, also an alternative costume for Hanyu. Where do we put this plush? It
At
is a
least B,
boy.
I'd say.
B?
B.
B? You're gonna
Yeah.
have to back that one up for me.
I say that Sakutaro holds the utmost importance for like a lot of the parts of the story. Well, Maria first of all, and
Yes.
if we were going to argue that Rosa is going to be important because she affects Maria a lot, then Sakutaro also affects Maria a lot. So obviously he has to be high too. But I
his
think
death?
he serves a his death is very iconic. I'd
Yes.
say in episode 4.
His
It's one of
death
the,
is
like,
very
defining
fucking
things.
creepy too. Like,
Like-
oh my god.
The entire scenario of that is that you have two different perspectives. You have the parents' perspective where they're just breaking a toy, and then you have the little girl's perspective where she just watched her mother rip her friend's head off.
Yeah. And
I mean,
Sakutaro
listen, sometimes
you
your
also-
best friend gets
you also
decapitated,
have the
guys.
fact,
It's just a
though, that-
life lesson.
You also have the fact that Maria had been disobeying the fuck out of her mom. Maria actually got lost in the middle of Japan. And it looked from the background art that Ryukishi-san put in, they live in a city. It's not like a small rural area in Japan where everyone knows each other. This is a city.
Yeah.
Like, her mom had every reason to be absolutely livid with her. Now, that being said, her mom left her fucking, 6, 7-year-old girl alone?
Yeah.
So,
yeah, and she
they're
was
both
supposed to
terrible.
go out, so
Oh,
It
okay.
was only
So, yeah, I'm just
she
gonna
was
tell
supposed to
my
go buy food herself.
I'm just gonna tell
was-
my hypothetical 6-year-old daughter not to leave the house while I go work for 10 hours.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's. So I mean,
Can I say
yeah,
more? Because
go ahead. Go
people
ahead.
seem unconvinced. There's also the parts when like NJ has her little school murder arc and everything.
Yeah.
Even after that, stuff like that, and like not talking to Maria, Sakutaro still assists NJ a lot. When NJ views Maria's crazy moments where she murders Rose times, Sakutaro is there. When NJ needs to convince Maria to leave the Golden Land so she can get Berto out of the Golden Land in order for the game to continue, she summons Sakutaro back.
Yeah,
I think-
that is a catalyst.
Yeah.
That's
I think he is a very important catalyst when it comes to Maria, and through Maria also Beatrice, and the meta narrative as a whole,
If we have
and
Rosa
NJ's understanding of magic.
If we have Rosa and A, we can't really justify that Sakutaro wouldn't be ranked higher because of what Maria does.
I feel like both Rosa and Sakutaro have had a hell of
We
I'm
still have to
sorry.
learn
about that,
When I
Rosa.
say ranked
That's why I
higher,
said
I
B
mean
for
higher than
Sakutaro.
like. When I say ranked higher, I mean higher than D or C. I don't mean
Right,
higher
okay.
than Rosa. Okay,
Yeah,
holy
okay.
shit.
Okay.
Because we still get to learn a lot of things about Rosa as a character, as her own character. But
Okay.
also we get to know things about her connection to Maria. Well, for Sakutaro,
Listen, I
it's only
support
his.
this.
Yeah, for Sakutaro, it's only his connection to Maria that makes him important.
Okay.
And
I
NJ.
I
He's a
would say lower,
periphery
but I don't
character.
have a strong argument as to why, so I will settle for this decision.
I have a strong argument. If you put anyone else in C or D tier, it's going to cause another line, and that's going to bother me.
That is true.
Oh God.
So now the pressure's on Virgilia if she can get above C and D, and the answer is yes,
Yes.
obviously.
Yes.
Obviously.
Absolutely. There's like no contest. She deserves to be above C and D.
The question is, where do we put her? Is she?
I don't
'cause,
think
like-
she's A material, but
It's,
B
it'd be
is
like a
pretty good.
low A, a high B.
I
can we
want to
take into
say
account-
I want to say A because she teaches Meta Beatrice magic. She is Beatrice's teacher for magic.
She teaches Battler the brown tube theory that gives him the ability to
The
even
cat
fight
bond.
against magic the first.
Yeah.
Hell yeah,
The
Bronze
first
dudes.
time that Battler gets pulled into the metaspace with her was one of the biggest holy shit moments in the story for me at the time, so I have fond memories of that.
I want
And
to say
in
A.
episode
Yeah, her
5,
role is very, very impactful in episode.
Yes.
Yeah, in episode 5, she gives Battler the red truths that Beatrice never killed out of, fun, or like, that Beatrice wanted Battler to solve the mystery. She
Yeah,
gives a
and-
lot of important hints to Battler
and also
and helps
she's
him grow as a
very
character.
she's very complex too because she was on Beatrice's side even though Butler didn't know it. Like at the end of chapter 3, she tries to pressure him into signing the paper.
That is true.
Like-
She does.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so she has more depth than I was. I'd say if she was with Butler the whole time and just was like the witch on his side, she'd definitely be B. But because she betrayed him, that shows a lot of character depth, almost in the same line as Delano and Erica. So I want to say that she's an A tier.
I
Yeah,
think
she performs the magic tasks of,
Put her next to
playing for the
Ronavate.
witch side.
put her next to Ronovate. Yes, please.
Now the question is, are we keeping Kinzo in his own tier?
Oh God.
Absolutely.
Yes.
We actually
He's staying in his own
discussed
tier.
that
Keep him
last
I feel
there.
like it's fitting.
I think it fits that he's between A and B. Honestly.
The fact that everything goes back to him, I think,
Ugh.
is important.
But he himself never does anything. Like, again, it's almost like the game of Clue. He's Mr. Body that's dead in the fucking wherever
Yep.
the place.
Look on the other side. You're a body, and you have a lot of influence just by being dead.
I think we should end it off by giving our favorite character and our least favorite character, each of us.
Okay.
All right.
Who would like to go first?
Okay, I know the favorite. Who's the least?
I guess since I introduced the idea, I should go first.
Yes,
Oh,
you should.
Was my favorite character out of all of them. I really like Detective
I'm
Will.
shocked.
Listen here. No, but like everything up to this point, the detective was really involved on an emotional level, and that really drove the narrative. But it was nice to step back and get a Sherlock Holmes perspective. It was nice to step back and get a detective that was a detective, that didn't have any type of attachment to any of these characters. It gave us an outside perspective. I like the design of him too, of course. He's really cool. He has a fucking black sword, for God's sakes. But I think him as a character is really cool. And I do like how he and Delano team up in Chapter 8 to, you know, stop the giant goats. I do like that. My least favorite character, on a personal level, I almost got, like, not depressed, but, like, extremely unwilling to record when I had to witness Evatriss's atrocities in Chapter 3. She alone made Chapter 3 my most hated question arc, and if it wasn't for the fact that some other arcs really neuter other characters like Beatrice in Chapter 5, it might be my least favorite chapter of all of them. I'd have to say that Evatrice is just a disgustingly evil character, well past the point of reason. Like, it's fine to kill people, to resurrect them and kill people with this fucking interesting Dance of the Moon Rabbit music going on in the background is terrifying. Like, I was horrified by it.
Nobody in the When They Cry franchise would do something like that.
No. Well. God damn it, you. Okay. But I'd have to say those are my favorite and least favorite characters. There are other characters too, like Sloth really doesn't do anything, and a lot of the shit tier characters don't do anything.
But
I think in terms, you're gonna fight me on Sloth, really, of all characters.
Just because it pisses you off.
It pisses me off that fucking Gluttony is in the same tier, but whatever. All right, so those are my two characters. Will favorite, Evatrice least favorite, if we're not counting Golden Fantasia.
Okay. I'd actually have to think about this.
I'll go.
Oh, go ahead.
So my heart wants to say Oganogi, my brain wants to say Kiri, but I know the actual answer is Beatrice and Battler. Tied for favorite. I mean, they're the linchpin of the story, you know. Can't really have Umineko without them.
No, you can't.
As for least favorite, I don't know. I feel like I'm picking on somebody to pick a least favorite because there's so many characters in this story that kind of don't do that much for the stories, and we have a decent amount in E and shite tier. So it has to be one of those.
Are you sure? Because Kinzo and Evatrice exist. And they're horrible people.
Yes, but they enrich the narrative.
That's why I said personally earlier. Personally, I fucking hate Evatrice, but I won't deny she enriches the narrative. This is more of a personal ending, like, your personal favorite and personal least favorite.
I'll say something slightly controversial, which is it's not a big, huge opinion, but I find Erica a tiny bit annoying. Not to the point where I hate her, but she's a little bit annoying.
Wait. Just a little bit. Just a little bit.
Oh, God.
I don't find that as endearing as some people.
Okay, I'm gonna be as simple as I can here. Battler is by far my most favorite character. It's hard to put my favoritism above Beatrice because, goddamn, what was her voice actress's name?
I didn't listen to the voice actors because I didn't have that version of the game, but my interpretation of the voice...
O'Hara.
Yeah, Psycho O'Hara.
My interpretation of the voice is... You guys remember whenever Natsui grabbed the gun and pointed it at the family when the letter appeared in the closed room?
Yes.
And there's that music in the background with that person speaking? It's between that and her laugh that I imagine Beatrice's voice to be in octave range.
But anyway, it's hard for me to really pick between the two, but I think I'm going to settle as my most favorite would be Battler because aside from whenever I was doing Higurashi, Umineko was one of the first big series that I actually started tackling in terms of visual novels. And just the character of Battler, seeing how he reacted to deaths of people that he knew repeatedly, for God's sake, there was something about that I just kind of, I don't know, I know some people kind of got, I know that there has been some people that kind of got irritated with how he acts, like in the earlier chapters, concerning, like, trying to solve the mystery and all that, and just his mostly emotional responses. I don't know. There's something about that just resonated with me, that, because I'm an emotional guy, so I can't help but, kind of just get along with that, sort of. As for least favorite, Kinzo. There's just enough said about him, really.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Have you met my mother sister? Oh God, no. Oh God.
Oh God, I just can't put into words my dislike of this.
Yes, he's an absolutely vile person.
Yes.
Vile. Yeah. Even discounting the reason that they got, like, oh, he got old, he got confused, like, no.
Like, no, just
no.
God, that's so fucked up.
That's really fucked up. It does explain how Beatrice has lived forever, because, hey, apparently they're actual fucking clones of each other. But god damn, do I hate Kinzo because of it.
Yeah. Ugh.
Alright, next person, then.
I guess, yeah, I can quite easily say that Archie's my favorite character in the story, not for any particularly, like, objective reason, just because she was, like, the character that first made me actually care about what was going on, beyond just trying to, like, reason it out.
Didn't you just argue on Okanoki, though?
Well, no, that's why I was saying I don't have much of a logical reason. Like, I think Okanogi is, if I was to just sit down and weigh scales, Okanogi's the most important character in the story to me, but Anji was the one that made me care when I was first reading it through. As for my least favorite, like, Kinzo's the easy pick because of the morality, as you've kind of, like, discussed there, but I don't read the story and go like, oh, I wish Kinzo wasn't here. He's still an interesting addition to the story. In the same way that, like, George really pisses me off in a lot of scenes, but he's still an interesting addition to the story. Like, I don't know. It's really difficult to pick a least favorite because I can think of a good value for everyone's inclusion in the story. So I'm just going to kind of, like, I guess, chicken out and just say that one of Gertrude or Cornelia really didn't need to be there. Like, all of the other, like, stakes and Chiesta sisters and whatnot, whilst they're all very homogenous, still have, like, a piece of the puzzle to them that you can figure out, whereas Gertrude and Cornelia very much just feel like, there's two of them because I didn't know which hairstyle to pick.
My turn then, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, for the favorites, I guess it's pretty easy for me. It's Burn.
Whoa.
Ooh, we got a Birkenstell.
Oh boy.
Because I really like her cruel and the maybe psychotic side. Always enjoyed when she just came and fucked everything up. Always was fond of bitter
I'm surprised somebody didn't say Landa yet, actually.
Well, I said Will. I noticed that most of us picked our favorites from the S tiers, but, like, I was the only one who picked it from the A.
Well, for the least favorites, to be honest, I would say God. I really don't like him. Not really fond of coward characters, I would say, and he's maybe some, like, comic side was really annoying to me. So, just not a character for me, I guess.
You said that was Goda or George? I didn't quite hear.
Goda.
Okay, bye.
The chef.
But he's so magical, how could you?
Alright. And that just
Cruel
leaves
as
one...
my favorite character.
And that just leaves one more person.
That just leaves a certain rat. And I mean, this might really come off as a surprise also. Yeah, I love Erica to bits.
Ooh.
And I think that she is like a lot more than people give credit for. I mean, obviously she has a lot of things about her that may seem like very one-dimensional, like her sudden backstory and everything. But I feel like if you like really look at those deeper, it really shows a lot of sides and like humanity on like what anyone could have like become in the story if they were like as nearly as, you know, desperate as her. And I like the parallels between her and NJ in episode 8. I like the fact as a whole, like how she introduces the whole concept of like bad detective work, or, you know, being kind of a like there's a good way to unravel magic and then a bad way, like a ruthless way. Like her intellectual rapist thing.
And
is
yeah,
like
I
really
forgot about that. I forgot that she calls herself that. Like, what the fuck?
It's the
Oh,
catalyst that makes Battler really think that, man, should I really just not give a shit about how I deny Beato, or should I like do it in a better way? And yeah, I think she serves as a great antagonist. And like all the she has her fair share of character growth as well. Too bad it never goes anywhere beyond like episode 8. But like especially her dynamic with Dolono at the end of the day, that's also very precious to me. Like how Dolono, even though she recognizes Erika as someone wicked, still wants to protect her and everything. I think those two share a very, very heartfelt dynamic. As for my least favorite, that would definitely have to be George. Mostly because of the whole letter theory, where when in episode 7 all the cousins and everyone received the letters, but somehow there isn't one for Shannon. There's the theory that George actually, since he was the one who was giving out the letters, that there's a theory that he hid the letter for Shannon from Battler. And that just rubs me the wrong way. Like that, potentially everything that happened in Umineko could have been just because of that. Well, obviously there's Kinso too, but still. And George is really like cliche, I'd say, in his love talk. So whenever those Arbor scenes happened with him and Shannon, I just felt bored to tears. It was just somehow very like something that a real person wouldn't say sometimes. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. Romance is not really 07's strong point.
Yeah, except when it
Say it
comes to
again for
maybe
the people at the
Beato.
back.
Yeah, romance is not really a strong point. I've noticed that with the core of Umineko, and this kind of went into our two incompetent, well, 3 now, but like our 2 incompetent S tier main characters. A lot of people either like Umineko for Bottler's side or Umineko for Angie's side. That's why I argued the hell out of Angie, is because like she is, for some people, the main reason why you read Umineko once she was introduced, because before it's like, oh cool, killings. And for some people like me, that was really fun, like, ooh, this whole battle between Butler and Beatrice. But then you get to the, you know, at the outside stuff, and that's also cool. So I really enjoyed this. I really enjoyed going through, as long as it was. You know, we're reaching, I think, the 3-hour mark.
About 2 hours and 40 minutes.
Yeah. This was fun. This
yeah.
was fun. I always like talking about Umineko and 07 in general. I think this list is definitely fine. There's not any outliers. What?
It's
What?
definitely fine, I guess.
No, like I don't see anything wrong with this list. Like every character seems to be where they are. We just kind of pretend that Kinzo doesn't exist in a tier. We separate him out from every, and we agree that we can't agree between Bottler, Angie, and Okanogi being in S tier, A tier.
Yep.
I like to think of it as us having too much nuance to, you know, put them in either category.
Right.
Oh god.
It was pretty fun.
Tears and then
This was
Real
enjoyable.
Oh yeah, this was fun. This was fun as hell.
If this does end up on the internet and you watch the whole way through this, I'm sorry.
I'd like to apologize as well for my ramblings.
I'd
Now
like
that
to
there are two
apologize
people
on behalf of.
I brought
that
manga
are
way
sitting
too
all
many
the night
times
making this
on this
tier
whole
list.
discussion.
No, don't
This
worry
is like
about
something
it.
I would
felt
fall
like I was a
asleep
hell
to.
of
I
an
usually fall
audience
asleep
member.
to podcasts like this.
This is like one of those streams that people put on in the background while they grind for an RPG or anything. I know who you are.
I like
If
that
you-
almost all YouTube tier lists that pop up, all I see, they're like 10, 15 minutes. This is like almost 3 hours.
I mean, to be fair,
how
that's like,
authentically Umineko?
True.
Oh my god.
I mean, I will say this about Umineko. This came out like what, 10 years ago? Higurashi is about 15 years. 16.
Yeah.
This came out about 10 years ago.
I read them all as they came out in the original patches.
People are still talking about this visual novel.
Especially
yeah.
now with the Higurashi remake quotation
Yeah.
marks.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people are being introduced to Umineko simply because people are telling that if you want to understand the recent new Higurashi, you do have to have some knowledge of Umineko.
Yeah, if you,
I like
yeah,
that. I like that.
Exactly. And even if that weren't the case, like, you know, new Let's Players are popping up every now and then because they get people who recommend this to them, and then they drink the Kool-Aid, and now they're us. They're another generation of us, and their lives are ruined because of Umineko.
It's true. I have read over 200 murder mysteries since
It is.
finishing.
Umineko
I have
brainwashed
so much
daily.
respect for you guys. I'm not a YouTuber, but I have so much respect that you guys did the Herculean task of let's playing this 100-hour plus game. That is insane to me.
It took, not counting my 2-year break because I thought it would go nowhere before the interesting things happened in chapter 1. It took me 2 years to complete this project when I did mine.
God, I don't know how long it took me, but I know. I think recently I counted how many videos I did on it. I think it was like 113. I think was the total.
Between
Yes,
the two.
doing the let's play is an odyssey.
Yeah.
God.
Not only that, but actually like going in. Like I remember I spent 2.5 days trying to figure out the epitaph. And I actually used the wrong method, but I got the right answer.
Oh,
I
should
mean, that's
oh,
the
wait.
fun thing is that, like, us as a generation of Let's Players, because we're all kind of the same time period, were, as far as I'm aware, the first group to kind of prove that the epitaph was solvable in English, which was a big deal.
Yeah, and
Mhm.
like I remember that video I put out. I'm like, okay, this is what I did. These are the steps I did, and I got I did it wrong. I don't remember what I did wrong, but I did something wrong. But I did logic out the railway. I did look at Google Maps and figure things out. And that's the big thing, is that we all proved that no, it takes critical thinking, but you can solve the epitaph in English.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think Newt was the first one to put out a video on that.
I think he was.
I don't remember when I did mine, but
Yeah.
I put mine at the beginning of the episode.
All that said, I will say, while we're talking about English solutions to the epitaph theory, shout out to Shu from the Hinamizawa Discord for the cleanest English solution I've ever seen.
Damn.
Speaking of
Yoria?
Yeah.
Speaking of Hinamizawa, I want to give a shout out to Katedid92. She and I, as far as YouTube goes, I think we're the like first generation of English-speaking Let's Players for Higurashi. As far as my research went, she uploaded her video a couple days before I uploaded my video, and we were the first 2 English-speaking Let's Players that did Higurashi.
Damn.
Yeah.
I actually made a Phoenix Wright edit when the first episode of the Umineko anime aired in 2009.
Oh my god.
Objection.
Love
yes,
it.
that I can link it in the chat.
But
Oh, I
it
gotta see.
is interesting to see, like, even if some of us may be inactive now, it is interesting to see how we have not only shaped our own minds, met each other, but also shapes the minds of the people who watch Umineko, who read through
All right, no, I
Umineko,
feel like we're
and
giving ourselves too
Higurashi.
much credit at that point. Pull back, pull back.
Are we? I'm sorry. I think the big thing I wanted to say is thanks to everyone who's been sticking with us
Totally.
the
Yeah.
whole time. You know,
God.
Yeah, having
it-
seen all three of yours Let's Plays, I think they were each all enjoyable, and I think Umineko is a gift that keeps on giving.
mhm.
So
Oh,
It
I
really
could never
is.
definitely become bored with it.
Yeah,
Oh,
except Golden Fantasia. I'm sorry, but whoever made the code for the AI,
I still
Fuck
can't
you.
beat the final boss.
fuck you.
Oh, Sabara, you
You
want some
know
more
who
lessons?
is the true
Maybe you can
final
finally beat
boss?
me.
I beat
Soba.
Golden Fantasia.
I'm
and
sorry, what?
I wanted to die.
Did you beat the true final boss?
Which one was that? Because I unlocked.
Black Battler is the boss.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Two
beat.
Black
I beat him.
Battlers.
No, like the problem with Golden Fantasia, just side rant, is that characters that are able to spam are programmed to spam.
I can't
and
tell you how
that
many
becomes
times.
infuriating.
I can't tell you how many times Lambda grabbed me and turned me into candy.
My two big problems. Well, no, I could make a whole video on Golden Fantasia and why it doesn't work as a Dojin fighter, because like the difficulty spikes are insane in that game. Like you are fighting, you are doing good, and the next battle with Rosa, like she just fucking destroys you for no goddamn reason. And
I
then the
had-
characters that spam they just spam. Beatrice and Chester 410 both spam, but Chester's more fucking malicious with it.
I just suck at fighting
In short,
games.
never play Jessica.
Oh god, no.
Oh god.
Or you're gonna get zoned.
Hey guys, it's already 5 a.m. I guess
Oh,
we
yeah.
must go to sleep.
I should probably.
I think we need to
stop
wrap it up
recording
here.
earlier.
You've been a trooper for
Um,
staying up this late. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thank you,
it's one of the sacrifices.
Whoever
you,
the hell
everyone.
stayed the whole way through this, you earned yourself a cookie.
Yeah, thank you everyone who watched this all the way along. Thank you for watching our individual Let's Plays and just, being a really cool community. So,
Oh, yeah.
thank you guys for watching.
Yep.
Until then, guys, see you
I'm
later.
out.
Simply by the existence of this tier list, this level of tier list is possible for us 5 witches. What the fuck is going on? I need to go to bed.